guys? Welcome back to another episode 27 of the Intelligent Idea Talkers podcast series. God damn. Can we get a toast?
Yes.
Hey, what's up?
What we sipping on?
Bam. Introductions. I'm your host, D.
This is Juice.
This is your boy, Jay.
And we're sipping on a little Cabernet Sauvignon.
Galil.
Galil. Dry red.
What's
wine.
this? Galil.
Looks awesome.
I don't even know what you're supposed to read first on this bottle. Is it Give On, Cabernet Sauvignon, Galil Dry Red? Or is it just like...
Now, like with the different wines, right?
You just throw it in.
And I'm pretty sure I can Google this and find out, right? Like, off the top, do you know, like, how do you make a different wine? What's the difference between a Cabernet Sauvignon and a Chardonnay? Or how do you make these different? Is it like a different
Are they
fruit?
different grapes?
Is it
I thought it was
different,
different grapes, but I don't know.
fermentation process?
I don't know.
It's like, does one use like bare feet as you like smashing them, and the other one use like a roller?
Yeah, you know.
Sandals. So we got Nike. You know what I mean?
Yo, these J wines is fresh,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he got his Yeezys on there, smashing grapes and whatnot.
The Yeezus wine. Oh,
Supreme wine? I love that.
you know what I'm saying? Yo, definitely.
Yeah, I don't know how they do it. I'm pretty sure we can Google and find out.
Yo, we should definitely have a wine testing at some point. As much wine as we drink on this podcast,
Dude.
we should do a wine tasting. But we need somebody to teach us.
Dude, we can do it when we have Steph. We ever get Steph to come in here and we have that food cast where we just try different vegan dishes and raw foods. I mean, like I said, I'll buy the food, right? So Steph don't have to come out with it. She just got to come prepare it for us, right? You know what I mean? It depends on what she's trying to fix.
You got a carrot corn dog?
Yeah, she has like
Carrot
corn dogs
dog.
for us and stuff. But I think she made those for her kids.
Well, hey,
Steph will try a bunch of
I'm
stuff.
open-minded. I'll try it.
You should see some of the dishes that she posts for this little group
Sometimes
chat.
it
They
looks
look
pretty good,
They
man.
look good. They look great, you
They
know?
do.
But she'll have like a fresh salad with like a pile of peanuts next to it. And it's like, can I throw some ranch on there or something like that? You know, she's like, no. I'm like, what the hell? Can't eat ranch? But
nah, man.
It looks great,
Just
though.
corn syrup. Ranch got it.
It looks
Ketchup
great, though.
got it.
I applaud stuff for that. And her kids, especially last week at your get together there, they were eating a lot of the.
Oh yeah, my birthday was last week, y'all. Woo.
Happy belated.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, how's it feel to be 1 year older, man?
It's cool, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I definitely plucked like 3 gray hairs on my beard.
Oh,
so
God, the grays coming in, man. The peppers coming in.
my whole
there.
goal is I'm trying to get them all in one place. Like, I want it cool.
You want like that
a
Doctor
streak.
Strange?
Yeah,
patch.
like the Doctor
Yeah.
Strange. You know?
Nah,
But
man,
the thing is,
they don't come in that crisp, okay? Like, that
But the thing is, they don't want to obey, right? So I got to keep plucking them out the other places and try to keep them in one place. And
obey.
yeah, they're not
You
trying
want like
to
the
obey.
Reed Richards gray joints on the side right here.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
'Cause,
Yeah, they make
look
it
a lot
look
better.
cool,
Yeah.
man. Like,
They do
make
look
it
a lot
look
cooler
cool.
in Marvel.
You gotta
We're gonna talk about
train your grades.
We're gonna talk about the new Black Panther trailer later on in the cast.
Yeah.
Stay
We
tuned.
want to get into something a little more serious here in the beginning. You want to lead in with the article? We had 2 articles kind of tying to each other here, and it was the first one was saying, "Is it always bad when men look at women?" It's pretty interesting. It's just talking about
It was written by Michael Carson, PhD. Should I say Dr. Michael Carson?
Yeah, exactly. Right. And he was just talking about, you know, the etiquette or the way that men look at women, like physically look at women, and is it always bad when they do so, especially in this American culture where sex and the body in general is so idealized and it's so revered, you know, when you have beauty pageants and you have different shows, you know, where you have a guy who's, you know, what do you call it? Like not a strongman competition, but when he's flexing his muscles and he's up there in that little speedo, you know what I mean? Right?
Yeah.
But we don't look at those as, of course you're supposed to look at their body. That's what they're into, you know, but
It's kind of the nature of our society, and it's the nature of our entertainment, and it's the nature of our humanity, right?
is it society or is
Visuals-
it culture? Because I would say society, that's the nature of it, is sex is idealized, but
Sex
in
sells.
culture, it's like, well, some things are shunned a little bit, you know? Like, it's not okay. It's okay to stare at a woman in a beauty pageant, right? Who says that she looks better than the woman next to her, but it's not okay to stare at a beautiful woman on a bus.
Or a celebrity on stage, right?
Yeah.
Even the idea of like you're supposed to stare at Nicki Minaj as she's performing and she's like dolled up, right? You're supposed to be like, oh, that's attractive, that's hot, right? And then at the same time, you have to turn that off, or I guess men have to turn that off or shift it when you're dealing with reality. And of course, many things are like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Even if you see Nicki Minaj in the airport, it's not okay to stare at her then. I'm not performing. This is not the stare at me time. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to get on my plane.
So
I don't want to deal with the paparazzi and pictures.
Periods.
Right?
Sanctioned periods of time in which you can...
So it's like, is it fair for a lot of women to man, I don't want to say like, because it's all up to the individual encounter, right? Like a woman can feel like she's sexually harassed without actually being sexually harassed, right? Or she can actually be sexually harassed and be denied that she was sexually, you've had women that have been raped and say, I wasn't raped, he didn't rape me, she took one for the team, so to speak, or something like that.
That's true. Like there's a whole lot of there's a lot of nuance to that, a whole lot of layers and that gradient.
We were talking pre-cast, and a lot of it has to do with etiquette, right? Like the length of time that you stare at a woman versus the if you look 2 times or 3 times or 4 times. Is it all right to look at a woman for 1 straight minute, just stare at her constantly, because that'll make her feel uncomfortable. She'll be looking back at you. You might feel uncomfortable.
If you stare at anybody for a minute, you probably crazy.
That's too much. That's too much.
Get help.
What if they look funny or something? You know what I mean? We've all stared at people, right? We've all had. You've seen somebody on the
bus.
What
level of funny are we talking about? You gotta stare at them
it's
for
etiquette,
60
though,
seconds.
Etiquette.
It is. A lot of it is etiquette.
Yeah.
A lot of it has to do with etiquette. Let me see. There was another part in the article, and Juice had an article as well, kind of related to this article in a way.
So the tricky part, and look, here's the thing. I made this point earlier. The whole idea is that men are, of course, visual creatures, and in no way am I trying to excuse the behavior of men. Right? That's not the intention of any of this random speech that we're doing. Right? The idea is that like men are visually intrigued. Like we're trained, not trained, but we're like
brought up,
evolved. Like biologically, the male has evolved to be visually stimulated, and it expresses itself in many different ways throughout the world. But of course, the idea is that because of that, we have to be better than our biology, right? Men have to be better than their biology. They can't allow, like, we're not, as much as we are monkeys still, we are in a society in which being a monkey, being an animal for a human is unacceptable, And this all reminds me of this whole Harvey Weinstein thing. Like, I know you guys heard of the situation with Harvey Weinstein. Well, who was the first? Was it the first actors that came out against him?
There's a lot.
There's many more now. And that's right. It was his brother that initially, I think, leaked the story or something, saying that he had exploited women using his position of power to get what he wanted out of them and keep them quiet. Really just abusing women with his leverage in the Hollywood industry. We've all known for a long time how volatile being in the Hollywood industry is. Not that we're in it here, we just do a podcast, in the living room. But still, when we first stories, we see artists come and we see artists go. We've seen definitely in the music industry as well. We have to make it a point as a society to be like, hey, there are limitations and these things should not be hushed and pushed and pushed away and hidden.
And I think that's one of the biggest thing though that has been happening in Hollywood, and just even in just the workplace and people that we know, like people who come out, whistleblowers, they're penalized, they get in trouble, or they are like put down, so to speak. Like for example, Courtney Love. Yeah, Courtney Love was one of them. Like there's a lot of people who came out openly and try to talk about
that was a long time ago.
Yeah, and then they had their careers destroyed. Or they'll just, they'll be ricked, or they'll be ridiculed, they'll be mocked, and all these things, and it's ridiculous. So, how do we as a society start, like actually listening?
So the whole Me Too campaign, right?
Yep.
So
hashtag Me Too, right?
Hashtag Me Too, right? So I don't know if I have it right, this might not be how the campaign went down, but I heard it started because by I don't remember the name of the actress, but she started saying that, oh, me too. Like, I also was sexually harassed. Is it about harassment or like outright abuse? I'm not really even sure, but
if you've been sexually harassed or assaulted,
right?
Yeah.
If you've been sexually harassed or assaulted, then you do the hashtag Me Too as a effort to unify, to put your perspective out there, saying, yes, I stand behind this anti-harassment movement, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's interesting because I know there's been stories of men who have also joined into the Me Too
as rape victims.
As not necessarily rape, but as harassed or assault or abuse.
Anything, yeah.
By the opposite sex.
Anybody. Same sex opposite.
Terry Crews came out.
And I did read that. Yeah,
and it wasn't by a woman. It was by another man. Mm-hmm. He said the dude grabbed his junk like he was at a party, and he said he didn't react because he knew that the person's position of power could very easily end his potential career. Yeah. And so you're at a point where you have to make decisions. Like,
I heard actually pedophilia and even
music industry.
It dominates the music industry, the movie industry. I heard a lot of young actors and everything. I mean, a lot of these top execs in the higher up circles are into sexual kind of deviancy and even pedophilia, man. It's crazy.
There's a Patterson in the music industry, and I don't know the guy's name, but apparently he's a well-known man who likes young boys in the music industry. Mm-hmm. And it's not... The thing is that in the industry, it's not a secret. And yet, people won't say his name.
True. Which is crazy.
That's
it's not a secret, but
it's another thing. You know why?
Because he's in such a position where these people could possibly be negatively affected if they whistleblow on this guy. You know, it's another part in the article here, and this is on psychologytoday.com. The article by, like you said, Michael Carson. It's a part that says, keep clicking on this freaking ad, keeps popping up, man. I hate ads. I hate smartphones, man. I swear, if the time ever comes, I'm just gonna let them implant a microchip in my brain. I can just have Google this on my brain. You know what I mean? Like,
you can get ads.
That's gonna come with ads. You got ads in your brain.
I'll have ads everywhere. I'll be like, yo, can I skip? That just skip ad.
You're gonna have a banner running across your arm.
We should get into this later, though. But if you could integrate that type of stuff into your mind, like if you could have Google in your mind already, right? So if you had a question. Man, I wonder who's...
There's an Outer Limits episode like that.
Right? Where you could just automatically have access to this information. But the scary part is that information could be tailored. But anyway, so part of the article, Psychology Today, says male humans tend to be visual in their sexual interests, like Juice was just saying. Not unlike female birds. Yes, I get it that this has led to a host of problems for women trying to live up to photoshopped ideals. That could be to live up to... the men's expectations for them to, or even their own expectations if they want to live up to a photoshopped picture of what a woman should look like, maybe that goes back to like culture. Is that culture or society? Is there a difference between culture and society? I guess culture is shaped by society, or is society shaped by culture, or is it the same thing? But okay.
Apparently not.
Let me finish.
Apparently this. Culture and society.
But the vibrancy of the pornography industry suggests that this ideal is not about to change anytime soon. Instead of looking for pro-social ways for men to gratify their visual interests, however, the left seems to say that men should not have these interests at all. The left says that since all rape starts with sexual interest, all sexual interest must lead to rape. The left seems to say that if a man enjoys a woman's looks, that must be all he enjoys about her. Which it has a point, but I don't think it's true, right? Like, does attraction start with physical looks? It does.
I think it does.
Yeah, I think it does.
Right? For men, anyway, it does.
So how can men be vilified for that? How can you vilify me for
Here's the thing,
not taking a sexual interest in you when that's what drew me to... Is it?
I'm gonna come out and say it. The premise of the article... Is it okay or is it not okay for men to look at women? Of course it's okay for men to look at women. Like, yes.
Of course it is.
Like, and I'm gonna go and say, goddamn it, like, look, we have to look. Like,
We have
what
to.
else?
Like,
I don't know what else
it's
to
in my
say.
DNA.
I can't be like, I can't go on a date and be like, can I look at you now? Like,
Hey, look at
I got
that
my
one.
eyes closed. Man, you sound great, but I'm not really sure if I'm down with it, right? So yes, we have to look and a visual evaluation. And I'm not just even gonna say men. That's a human thing, man.
Right?
That's what men and women do, right?
So what? So women are not vilified for taking a sexual interest in a man in the initial stages because they are the woman. Like, if we're on a level in society where we're being equalized and women can aspire to be anything or do anything a man can do, which ties into the article Juice was talking about with the whole Google and the guy writing a letter about women in the workplace. I mean, should those ideals of sexual interest not apply to women? They don't, because they're the woman. They are the woman.
do. I think that women can sexually harass men.
Is there a support hotline for that?
Yeah, I'm sure there is. It should be the same hotline as women who are sexually harassed by men, right? So it is a thing, and it doesn't happen as often because women have different motivators, right?
But the thing is, like, does it not happen as often, or is it less reported? Because
it's also just as much.
Because like if a guy was to be sexually harassed by a woman, though,
the initial reaction is,
yeah, right.
Like, she grabbed your butt, bro. Like, okay.
Not, yeah, like, what you gonna tell you? Yeah.
So, because of like how people would take that, and
but that's not fair.
And that right? No, exactly. It is not fair. So because of that
that's
negative
a societal
stigma,
issue,
right? Because of that, though, there'd probably be even less reported.
Yeah.
Or probably. even if it was another dude who grabbed your junk, you know what I'm saying? Like Terry Crew, like.
Oh, I'm calling. Like, I'm reporting you.
Some people might not
grab my junk.
Some people might not though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's weird too.
Like prison rape, for example. If you look
at like a woman, so if she got touched inappropriately, they would say, "Well, call this hotline." There are a bunch of different support groups that you can support. And it goes down to the individual case as well. If a man got grabbed inappropriately, they say, "Well, punch him in the face." That is
the initial reaction. If you're told your friend, like, "Look, man, this guy grabbed my junk." Like, did you beat his ass?
Yeah.
Like, that's the first question. Like, you whooped his ass, right? You didn't. What's going on here?
Would you call the hotline?
Would you like it? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the path the man has to deal with. And it's different, but that's not saying that it didn't happen. And the same thing with the woman, right? So if a woman like touched a man in a way he didn't want to be touched, right? So your friend, your common person,
he was like, argue, is that even possible? Can a woman touch a man in a way that he don't want to be touched?
Think about a woman you don't like whatsoever.
Sure, right. No.
The only way
I'm thinking she grabbed your jump.
Bruh, she's still a woman.
So what? You
for me personally, I'd be like,
did you hit it?
Like if she was ugly and she grabbed my joint, I'd be like, you're a woman. Like, it's as long as you ain't trying to pull it off, you know what I mean? Like, it's no.
So
would
that's
you
the thing.
call
it? But would you consider that like
if you were out
harassment?
If you were out at a restaurant, right, and you were going to the bathroom, you're walking by a table, and any random woman reached out and grabbed your joint, would you think about calling any type of hotline to report her, or saying, I was touched inappropriately, I need support for this?
Well, here's the thing: like, if you walk into a restaurant
would you
and a
even
woman
report her?
If you're a woman and you walk to a restaurant and some random person grabs your butt, like, are you going to call a hotline then? Like, for the most part, that's not like in the context of
because that's sexual harassment.
It is sexual harassment, and yes, you could do the hashtag Me Too off of that, as could a man, right? But that's at the same time, it's not saying that that's systemic. It's not saying that that's something that happens every day, right? That's not in your workplace, right? That's not in it's not in your home or. And I'm not saying maybe you could tell the man who runs the restaurant, like, or maybe woman who runs the restaurant.
I think culturally, the owner, he wouldn't even take you seriously. He'd be like, "She what?"
Well, if you're saying like whether or not this is a problem or not, is that a problem, right? I would argue that it's a problem.
I'm half joking and half kind of like serious.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm saying, but I'm just saying like it is the same thing.
Mm-hmm. It is. It is. But then it's not.
It is not. It is not. Right. All right. I got you. It's not.
But it's still unwarranted, though.
It's unwarranted. If you ever been grabbed by a woman, you didn't. Yeah. Like,
it's weird,
cool.
right?
It's not cool.
It's
right?
weird. It's supposed to be equal. And this is in our society today where equality is such a big deal. Acceptance, gender acceptance is such a big deal. why is this specific thing, the issue of sexual attraction and rape, not the same thing? It's not, I personally don't think that it's taken the same way. It is the same thing initially, sexual harassment, but it's not taken the same way to society or even our culture, right? It's like a woman grabs you, a man grabs you, you punch him in the face. Like, that's the natural thing. That's a natural reaction.
That's a natural reaction, right? But it's like, at the same time, it's like, is it because... It's because, like, the reason why is because men, both culturally and socially, whatever you want to call it, I'm not even sure about the proximity of those two words right now, but they have not been brought up in the thinking that it's okay to do that, to file that complaint, right? True. And even if they did file that complaint, I guarantee they wouldn't want it to get out. I don't think women want that to get out either. So part of the reason why from what I've heard is to why women have waited so late to file reports of sexual harassment.
Like the whole Bill Cosby thing. Come on.
Yeah, it's like they're not sure.
30 years.
Sometimes I feel like it's their...
Yeah, but they could be mocked or decredited.
30 years though.
Like, people turn on you, right? Especially if you're dealing with a powerful figure. Like, if you're dealing with your boss, everybody in your office is going to turn it back on you. Because that power structure is there, right? And a lot of the powerful prey on their subjugates or their people under them. So dealing the same way, you have a powerful. If you have a woman boss who treated you in a certain way you didn't want to be treated, and you filed that complaint, right? If that got out, you wouldn't want that to get out because, again, people were turning on you. There's definitely a threat. And on top of that, with men, it would be a situation as, hey, why? It'll be back to the same questions. So, why didn't you do anything? Did you hit it? Are you trying to get that jump? Like, what's going on? Like, that's the. It's a social structure, the cultural structure.
It is a social structure,
but it has to be approached in the way which we're trying to say, look, we need to change it, right?
Personally, and answer honestly, right? Like, in your job, right? Either one of you guys, here on the Intelligent Ideas Talkers podcast, if you were at your job and somebody said, hey, man, this woman supervisor manager, man, she touched me inappropriately, man, she grabbed me, so I reported her. What would you honestly think? What would be your first initial thought? Like, for me, I'd be like, she grabbed you. Like, it'd be like, it wouldn't be a serious reaction.
Like, what, she hemmed you up?
Because he's a man, right? Like, he's a man. So you'd be like, she grabbed you? What do you mean she grabbed you? Like, how did she touch you? Like, Yeah. But if a woman said that same thing, you'd be like, a man, he touched me inappropriately. Your first thought is, what the hell? How can he do that? You know what I mean? Like, it's a totally different.
What it means already. It's something that's
maybe that's something that we should change then.
Yeah.
How?
It's about approaching. It's about the way we approach it, the way we create the narrative around it, right? Mm-hmm. Like, our entire culture is just a series of narratives, a series of stories we tell each other, ourselves. You change the story, you change the narrative, you change the culture.
Another piece of the article says, the left seems to say that men should treat all young women as they treat their daughters. I've noticed that for many men, a mentoring relationship does lead to treating the woman like a daughter. Many men have told me that after a few weeks, when doing therapy or supervision, the woman seems like a girl to them and sexual interest seems to stop being a factor. Which you can't be true sometimes, depending on the position you're in and the relationship you have with the woman. That sexual interest can fade. Yeah, but it does take a while.
So when you think about women who are your friends, right? So we all have women who we have as friends and we're not sexually attracted to, right? Mm-hmm.
I mean, wait a minute. She's still a woman.
I meant to keep going it out.
Yes, we do, and no, we don't.
Okay, fine.
There's a dichotomy there.
Okay, all right. So sure, there's some lines there.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the point I'm trying to make is that, look, the women who are our friends, who we are not sexually attracted to in specific, we view them as not just an average female, right? Yeah. Like, we care about the person. Mm-hmm. We have an interest in their well-being. We have an interest in how their life is going. You know what I'm saying? That they're good, they're healthy. And in a way, it becomes, for men, it becomes kind of a protective relationship, right?
True.
You end
totally
up
true.
being concerned about this person the way we want to protect them.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, that might become sexist.
And when they're negatively affected by situations in their life, it affects you.
Yeah, it affects you, and you want to help them. You want to, and that way, I guess if you're looking at if you're saying daughter relationship, which to me is kind of a weird way to put it, but I guess I get the point. You take that person as somebody who's in your family, like a sister, or
member of the family, a sister,
or aunt, niece. Somebody you care about.
Yeah,
like there's definitely that line there, and
definitely, I think it's true.
I remember this one. I was listening to something, and they made a good point. I think it was NPR. Anyway, it was an interview, and they were saying, somebody was like, men were asking, like men in general quotations, like men are asking, like, so what am I supposed to do if I feel a certain sexual attraction towards a woman, a coworker, somebody I
should not feel attraction toward?
Mostly, like, I think the question was like somebody I work with, right? What am I supposed to do if I feel an attraction towards that woman? Like, how am I supposed to approach it? And the answer that the lady being interviewed was saying, like, look, you don't have to do anything, right? Like, just leave it.
Just leave
it. Like, like, there's no mechanism that's saying, like, you must approach this woman to try to have sex with her. Like, you may be used to doing that. That may be something, and if you're attracted to that woman, like, attractive, that might be something you want, but you have no absolute obligation to do that. You can just leave the topic. And I felt like that as a simple answer, and at the same time a very poignant answer, was like really incredible. It was like, just leave it. Like, you don't have to engage in that way.
You don't. It's up to the situation though. And like, scientists today still don't understand the whole human pair bonding thing and how you find a mate. But that initial attraction, maybe it's like you feel like you're going to miss out on something if you don't approach this woman, right? Like
because people are not biologically monogamous.
Every good relationship started out as, let me approach this woman and talk to her, or let me approach this man and talk to him, or let me approach this whatever and talk to him. So maybe that could factor into it too. It's like, if I don't take this leap now, there may not ever be another chance, even for that guy at work. I would say in the workplace, just do your job, like, it doesn't matter if you're attracted to her or not. You can be attracted to her when she comes toward you and walks away, but go back to doing your job. Like you said, don't do anything, And
you can look.
You can look all you want. Just don't do anything. Don't be creepy.
Don't be creepy. Stare. Yeah, don't stare. 6 seconds.
Look once every 10 seconds.
It's like the sun, man. You just glance at it.
Yeah, glance at it. Glance. Look away.
I remember that book that Juice let me read back in the day, man. What was that book when the guy was like a pickup artist?
Yeah.
And he was saying, like, don't notice women at all. That's how you attract them towards you, It was like the art of it. What was it called? The art of picking up women or something like that, right?
Art of attraction?
What? Yeah, the art of attraction. Like yeah. One of those joints worked, okay? Because we went to the club and I asked the chick a couple questions out of that book, and that joint totally worked. But, yeah, maybe that could lead into
the game, yo. It's the game, son.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Anyway,
before we get off of this, the last part of this article, man, and again, this was by a guy named Michael Carson, PhD. Says no system of values, psychological, political, or moral, can work by ignoring reality. Human aggression and men's visual sexual interests are often treated, especially by the left, as dispensable inconveniences rather than core elements of the human condition. Which is totally true, right? Like,
I hate people vilify the entire left.
But they vilify men. Well, this is his opinion as far as the left and the right. But as far as men, it's treated as an inconvenience, like, be professional. Don't stare at this woman. It's inappropriate to stare at her. It's inappropriate to be attracted to her in this way. She's, that's not why we're here right now, right? But that's a core element of the human condition is attractiveness.
Look, I don't buy that statement. It's not a light bulb. I don't buy the statement. Because
this is his opinion, but
by his opinion, that means that all the right wants is for women to be dressed with the turtlenecks and cover themselves in shrouds, right? So that's like, if that's his point, then you argue the opposite of that. But none of that is necessarily true. Like, the right doesn't want that, and the left don't think that every man is by nature an abuser or a harasser or a rapist, right? Like, this is incorrect.
It is incorrect.
That's my opinion.
Isn't that sometimes the way that it's treated? You've never felt that walking down the street or anywhere you've ever been that you've been treated unfairly, like an aggressor or, by a woman, or like you had some other kind of interest beyond trying to get past you in the aisle of a store or trying to find a place to sit on the metro?
Old white women, but this is like,
because I definitely have had those feelings before.
They don't like.
It's
like, probably not because I'm a male as much as because I'm
be
black.
A member of society like you. You know what I mean? Like, yes, you look good, but that's not my fault. Right? It's not my fault. You look good. Right?
I'm sure you worked hard at it.
So if I'm trying to find a seat somewhere or trying to, I don't know.
No, I feel you. So the whole idea. So yes, there have been times when people thought I was gonna be trying to spit game at them or trying to try to get their number or whatever.
And you had no intention.
And I had no intention of it, right? So yeah, that happens. But at the same time, it's like that's your problem, lady. Or you know what I'm saying? Like I didn't in the end, and it looks like in the end you were wrong. So I don't know. I kind of leave it at that.
Yeah.
Maybe they're just conditioned that way because of all the crap that they've been through, like getting catcalled and harassed on a daily.
Or maybe they're incredibly conceited. It's probably a little bit of both.
It could be both. I'm saying though, with the whole Me Too thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you think about just how many people actually posted that and how much crap they probably get thrown at them, you can see why they're kind of jaded though. You know what I'm saying?
Like I've heard stories of women who have to they walk through if they're walking somewhere, they have to go off to work or wherever they're going. Like they cover up, and they put on headphones. Even whether or not they listen to anything,
or
right?
they avoid,
or they avoid,
yeah.
Right, they look straight and they just keep trucking, and
so I can see why they blow people off, or they come off as bitchy or whatever.
Yeah.
No, I totally.
I'm just trying to help you get the toilet paper.
I understand too.
I totally get it, but at the same time, though, it's kind of like I don't blame them. I kind of blame society for turning them kind of like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird, man.
I don't know. Is that society?
Remember that video of that woman who recorded herself for 10 hours or something walking through Manhattan?
Yeah.
And she was getting catcalled by crazy.
Bro, look how she was dressed. She had on again, it's visual attractiveness.
But you know
right?
That's
some tight
human
jeans.
nature, right?
But she was well endowed.
But the thing is, you don't want to victimize that though by saying
she did get catcalled for 10 straight minutes though.
Right, but it's Kim. Yeah, yo, she deserved that because of the way she dressed though. You know what I'm saying?
But we don't really understand.
She was in New York. I don't know what she expected in New York. I mean,
right? And it's not her fault, and she should be able to walk down the street without feeling harassed, right? And just because she would do that doesn't mean, and another woman would. Maybe she wants to be totally left alone,
So
she does feel like she's being harassed just by being catcalled. How much of all that
catcalling was human nature versus culture society, right? How much of that, how do you parse that? How do you break that up, is in order to solve it? Because I think that's what a tricky part is. It's
is that natural or is that learned?
The catcalling?
Yeah.
Could be learned.
It's learned. It's learned behavior, but it's natural reaction, right?
The natural reaction is to look and be attracted.
Even kids know that the girl has a
but learned behavior
just because you look though doesn't mean that you have to holler or say something inappropriate though. You know what I'm saying? So I've looked, but I don't know if I've ever actually had to yell something inappropriate.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever had that kind of
I've never yelled anything inappropriate.
What is inappropriate? It's hey, what if he just says, hey, can I get your number? Or if he says something belligerent, it's just
you're not really trying, right?
Because you listen to the thing they're saying though. Some of them was kind of yo, that's kind of crude, yo.
Yeah, of course.
It's I don't know about that.
But to Juice's point, she was in New York. You're walking down Manhattan, what do you expect?
Also, I'm always curious, does that actually work?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's ever
That's the thing. So how much of that is not guys actually trying to get at her, but to compliment her or to show off for themselves, right?
Because
and then is that a problem for guys to show off for themselves?
I don't.
If they're not necessarily interested,
maybe they're just compensating for their self-esteem or for
right. So
you project.
Is it using her as a bounce board to make yourself feel better?
Make yourself feel
but is that negative? Maybe it is, probably. But
you want to show off to your boys, you know what I'm saying?
But sometimes guys have in that strip. Some guys yelled actual compliments. Hey, you looking nice today. Now, she doesn't need to hear that, right? But maybe he feels good about himself by telling her that she feels good about himself, or that she looks attractive.
Right.
So,
Yeah,
and I'm not making excuses. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely it's a nuanced issue. You know, like how much of this is actually negative and useful and.
Like, will that same guy compliment like another dude with a nice hat or something, or like some nice J's?
I feel like it's a fresh hat. You know what I mean? Or definitely shoes.
Yeah,
Dudes get compliment on shoes all the time.
I've definitely told
a dude will stop you and ask you about your shoes, like it's a car or something like that. Like,
I mean, and if you compliment her tits, then that's definitely not cool at all.
The body versus what's on the body is like different.
But if you tell her in general, hey, fashion, you look nice.
Because a woman could feel sexually harassed if you want to stop and tell her that she has a nice smartwatch on. She might feel like you're sexually harassed by stopping her.
But I think in that part of the problem though, where we talk about women's physical attraction, because that's all that they are or all that they have. Like, we're kind of ingraining that though. Look at like Barbie growing up, like, you know, women playing with Barbie dolls, they already have makeup on them, or Bratz dolls, or looking at commercials where like
Bratz dolls are hoes, man. This is crazy.
Or they're heavily photoshopped in magazines and commercial ads, and then now like we're teaching our daughters, our women, that, you know, they're only physical. That's their only attribute. They have to look. So by saying, "Oh, hey, look, you look nice today. Oh, yeah, you're physically beautiful," kind of thing, right? But like, we never talk about anything else. So in that part of like the problem that we're kind of going through,
but you don't know it.
We don't.
You can't be like, "I love your personality."
Sure,
like, girl, you got some sexy esteem.
You got some confidence. That's beautiful esteem. Look at all that esteem.
But I mean, like in that kind of situation, I feel you. All right. Like, I mean, you know.
But yeah, you're right.
I mean, we're not solving anything. And I'm not saying that like
we have no answers.
we just have
that's a motto of this cast.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I get it, and like, I'm not gonna say that I'm not gonna, you know, compliment someone who looks beautiful, right? But at the same time, though, like, it probably doesn't help the situation that we're in.
It definitely doesn't.
Like,
it definitely not help.
But how can you turn it on and off? You can't turn it on and off. I can't turn off my attraction to something or someone, or and on the flip side,
it also might be the way you say it, though.
True. A lot of it has to do with etiquette and the way you say it. On the flip side, though, we always talk about, like, you know, we're talking pre-cast about how a lot of, like, it's hard for us to understand from a woman's point of view, her maybe feeling threatened or, you know, by the reactions or the interaction she has with men throughout the day. Maybe some of it comes off in a threatening way or non-threatening. It's hard for us to understand because, like we said, we don't get followed getting off the metro, or
like I imagine that would be uncomfortable.
We don't get gawked at when we're just trying to go to Walmart and get some groceries. You know what I mean? Like, so it's hard for us to understand. But on the flip side, if that same woman who walked down the street in Manhattan and got those cat calls, if she didn't get any cat calls at all, and maybe this feeds into what Jay was saying about we're teaching the young woman that, you know, beauty is your duty. You know, the visual of you is what it is.
Kind of thing.
But if she didn't get any cat calls, she might have felt negatively about herself, right? She might have been like, "Dang, what's wrong with me?"
Or at least there's some women, if not her, then somebody out there may have felt that way.
What's wrong with me? Why didn't they talk to me? You know? Yeah.
Yes.
So maybe I gotta look like this for them to talk to me, and then you get too many calls, and you're like, "Well, now they're harassing me."
Path, which is kind of like not really tangent, but kind of relates. But like when girls, not women, girls are wearing makeup at a younger age, though, it's almost sad. You know what I'm saying? Like beauty pageants for like children.
Look, Juice, I'm sorry, but I'm glad I didn't have a daughter, man. I don't want to have to worry about
I know, I'm thinking about it. Like Scarlett, she was like, "Can I get the lip gloss?"
Yeah,
it's like, I'm looking at her like,
and that's what women do, right? Like they put on lip gloss and stuff, right?
But at the same time, she likes it. And I'm like, okay, I don't know where she liked it from. I didn't teach her to like that. I tried to get her to read comic books about Wonder Woman and Batgirl, right? I'm just like, I guess, you know.
Well, if you look at Poison Ivy, she got lipstick on.
Look at the way Poison Ivy's dressed in every Batman game, though. She's like in a thong and a leaf.
Well, she doesn't play those. We're talking about the kids stuff.
Oh,
she's not reading.
Like Poison Ivy. She's not reading.
She's not reading Dark Knight. You know what I'm saying?
I'm like, Poison Ivy got on a thong and a leaf. You know what I mean? Like she don't have nothing on.
Look at the media. Like, it might not even be like what she's seeing. It could be her surrounding. Like, look, some of her friends might be doing it.
Right. I mean, and TV.
You can't avoid that. But at the same time, though, like,
look, the biggest proponent of culture, the biggest pusher is television. And it doesn't matter how much we discourse, none of it is really going to change unless the media changes.
I would say advertisement, not necessarily television.
I don't know, man. Do you ever watch Jesse
bus
or Barbie?
Television or even smartphones, the tablets now, man. Look at Facebook and Snapchat.
All those things, man. It's
Instagram
media in general.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's one of my friends was telling me like her daughter was asking her, "Am I beautiful?" kind of thing. It's like, you always look beautiful. Why you gotta ask me that? You know, like you don't
You're
think
always beautiful.
But it's like, oh well, well, don't you think I'll be more beautiful if I had makeup on, or like, I'm almost in 7th grade or this and that. It's like, are they growing up too fast? Is our media pushing them to grow up fast?
It's the culture.
Media is our culture.
You have to. Girls wear makeup, right? So it's like I bought my niece's little kitty makeup kit. You know, the dad was like, "Oh no, y'all not putting on no makeup. Excuse me. You ain't doing the makeup thing and blah blah blah." And I'm like, "No, I understand, but isn't that what girls do? They put on makeup, right? Like that's a girly thing to do. Like if you
the thing
is
they want it regardless of what the parent says, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like as I'm thinking about it, like because I have a daughter and I feel like their dad is like, y'all not doing the makeup thing. Nah.
No lip gloss.
You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like, if we go to the store, she's like, "Could we get this?" And she holds up a pack of, like, nail polish and lip gloss. I'm like, no, not right now.
Like, wouldn't you rather have that Batman toy over there?
You know what I'm saying? How about this sword and shield combo? Right?
The lasso of truth.
Right, exactly, you know? But they want it regardless, right? And it is because that is also part of a culture, and women are expected to be beautiful.
They
of course though.
Like if you have a girl that is too tomboyish, not too tomboyish,
think about it.
right?
Think about that statement. How sad that is too, though. They're expected
to be beautiful. But men are expected to be certain things as well. Strong providers, like,
and I think that messes up men too.
Ambitious,
like
right?
We're taught to like suppress our feelings. We're taught to like show no emotions and all that. And think about all the mental health issues that's come up.
It's like both the positive and negative expectations of both men and women affect our lives, right? And at the same time, it's like, I don't know, man. In a way, some of it just has to parse itself out. Mm-hmm. Like some of it just, I think it just has to parse itself out with the individual. Like the more I think about it, it's just like there's no fix to this. Like there's nothing we're gonna do to
not on this cast anyways.
Well, no, I mean like if the president decided to make a mandate, that's nothing he's gonna do to fix. Well, definitely not this president.
This has to do with like morals and
it's not gonna be your church. Your church isn't gonna fix this.
I was just like being ingrained into society. Like, hey, we should do this. This is how these people should act or how they should dress.
Yeah, since our newer Renaissance.
On the other hand, if you had a woman who maybe was right, like she's too tomboyish, or she dresses like maybe her sisters or somebody would dress her up in a dress and put makeup on her, and she come in looking like a totally different person. Because I've seen it. Your first reaction be like, "Wow, she's really beautiful." You want to dress like this all the time. You don't have to do yourself up a little bit. You're a great looking woman. And it's like what Jay was saying. It's kind of sad because this is the way you're expected to look, Like this.
But you dress for yourself.
And as soon as you step out of that, or if you live that as a norm, if you're out of that norm, as a norm,
and it's like, what's wrong with you?
But maybe she likes it though. Maybe he likes it though.
So people should be taught to do what they like.
But that's hard though. That's hard to go against the grain. Especially in society when there's billboards, there's ads of like women in scantily clothes. There's guys with 8 packs and like.
What do you actually like? And what's been programmed for you to like? I don't know, man. Like, do what feels good. Let's go with that.
I think a lot of it has to do with programming, definitely. But even just the human condition, man, you can't turn off attractiveness, man. We are men. We're going to be attracted to women, and speaking for me, I'm a man. I'm going to be attracted to women,
but is that our society? Is that the nurture aspect? Because remember we talked about in the past cast about like the goats and the sheeps and stuff, right? What if like everyone just wore like burkas or like whatever.
That would
right?
suck.
And maybe that's to us as attractive. Maybe we see like maybe you got beautiful eyes, your eyeliner, or maybe like the way you speak is very elegant.
Man, the bridge of your nose is popping.
Like, but the thing is like maybe we find something else that's more attractive.
Isn't the whole emphasis behind wearing a burqa like so that other men are not able to look upon the property of another man, right? So
and modesty, probably both.
I thought it was a way to suppress men's like urge, which I thought was kind of stupid in general. But
I think maybe it's all those things. Maybe it's all of them.
Maybe religion. That's what religion.
But it's like
It's
that
a tricky
sucks, man.
thing.
Because
it is tricky. And this cast, I swear, we get more and more questions every time.
I know, man. All right, we got to switch topics.
hang
We're into
on.
like 45 minutes.
last
now.
thing, I would
one-
never try to disrespect anybody's culture, but wearing a burqa, right? And maybe this goes
shit.
back to like expectations of beauty or even like society in America. But I don't know if you guys have any friends who wear burqas or anything like that. But my first initial thought is always like, why the hell are you wearing that? You know what I mean? Like, why, if you're a beautiful woman underneath, right? For whatever reason that you don't want to wear it, modesty or just to not be able for another man to look upon another man's property, right? Or culturally, right? A lot of those have to do with
It's a
their
cultural
culture. That's
thing.
how they, you know.
Because some people.
But my first initial thought is always like, take that shit off, man. Like,
Well,
you don't have to wear that.
some-
It's 78 degrees.
So
That's your culture.
So I have some of my friends
Take that off.
who wear hijabs or niqabs,
Mhm.
and basically like the material though, like it actually shields.
Really
them.
light, yeah.
It actually shields. It makes it's less hot. So it's kind of like having an umbrella in like a sunny day.
But
kind of thing.
you never thought to yourself like,
But at
you
the
don't
same
have to
time,
wear
though,
that.
so right, and I've talked to them before. I was like, like, hey, why do you? I'm not just
Yeah,
curious.
just curious.
I'm just curious, right? And they're like, well, we believe that we should be more modest. Like sometimes women they wear like skirts that are just barely covering their butt cheeks. It's like, yo, like where's your modesty, kind of thing. So that's just what I've gotten from my experience. When I've asked, and they're like, I think it should be more modest. Leave something to the imagination, kind of thing. And I'm like, all right, okay, I respect that.
So
So,
for
but
you two guys personally, like, for this culture of sexism that we have in America where you see scantily clad people everywhere, like, on billboards and TV and Facebook and all that, would you prefer that women wore burqas or would you prefer that?
I mean,
The way it is
our
now.
preference doesn't matter.
But the thing is,
because it's not in our society.
Well, what if it could be?
It's so
Would you
extreme.
prefer-
Though. It's so extreme. It's either burqa or bikinis, right? Like,
Right?
That's so extreme. That's so
There's no in
extreme.
between.
Yeah.
Shit. All right, yeah.
It's so. I don't know.
Burqa or bikini.
Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's just me. Well, I don't know if it's because I'm getting old now, but like, I think last night was homecoming or prom or something, man. So like,
You're right, it was.
Yeah,
Because
so I was up
yeah.
at Mosaic with
Couple's
a
cool,
couple of
man.
my friends, and we were just hanging out, watching a movie, getting some dinner and stuff, right? And like, we see all these like young teens, I guess,
Dressed up and
like,
whatnot, yeah.
dressed up, yo, like. Some of them just barely covering butt cheeks.
I'm so
Just
glad I have
barely,
done
right? And like the thing is, like, so I
Still
was,
being young, man.
She's going to be going to homecoming soon, guys.
so no,
Hey,
so,
dude.
Trying to wear this
so,
dress.
no.
Down.
So the thing is, like, it's funny, like, because, like,
Jesus.
so when I was
Wish
watching
no
these
snap.
women, hopefully they're women, I don't know, like, walking by, I was like, man, like, it's cold. It was kind of chilly last night, too.
Oh, it was.
And I'm like, yo, your knees are knocking. I see you, man. I see you cold, right? I'm like, man, that's barely covering up.
Wish you had that burqa on right now, don't you? It's cold in the mud.
That's barely covering up. And like, it's funny though because like I see a lot of the Mosaic is just like it's everybody's there. You know what I'm saying? So I see a lot of older guys, people
You making me
our
feel bad
age
about
and
my
stuff,
side,
right?
then.
And when they're looking around, they're just like, you can see some of the head shakes and the disapproval. It's kind of like, yo, man, you still growing up, man. Like,
Yeah, like, why you want to put yourself out there so fast?
so I see some of that though sometimes. Like, I don't know, maybe because I'm old, but I see them.
I think we can appreciate that because we are older, and you can look
ain't
back and
gotta
be like,
try
man,
so
you need to
hard.
value your hhigh school years,
Yeah,
like
I'm like, yo, man, relax.
Like in
man.
be in such a
hindsight.
rush to grow up.
Or like chill out with the makeup, man.
Yeah,
like,
don't be in such a rush
looking
to
like
grow.
Mimi from the Jim Carrey show, you know.
Yeah,
Jim Carrey.
man. It's just like,
Yeah, it is crazy.
in hindsight, you're just like, that's not really necessary.
So, Jude, no to the whole burqa thing. Juice is
It's
he's
not my
like, no.
society, dude. It's like asking me, dude, if you were on Mars and you're three-headed.
Yeah, but no, that's a little bit different.
Why you got one
three-headed
head,
girl?
why you
It's a
only
little
got
bit
one
different. One
You got
two
modesty-
heads. If
modesty-
you have one head or three heads.
Modesty ties into the whole
man.
thing, and a burqa would definitely help with modesty and sexual interest, right? Because men are visual, and you wonder what's under there, but you can't see it.
It's a spectrum.
But I mean, like, yo, like, so there's some Middle Eastern girls out there, some Persian girls out there, Iraqi girls, right, who like just wear like the hijab, just covering their hair. Some of them are beautiful, man. And so I mean, like, that's not as extreme as a burqa, but it's like, yo, pretty attractive.
Yeah, it goes down to culture.
Ain't gotta be so extreme, yo. Bikinis or burkas.
Yeah, that's
so extreme.
Another T-shirt idea.
You know what I'm saying?
Like bikinis or burgers.
Oh damn.
Like 2 questions. Oh man,
with a checkbox under
like a little spectrum thing, and there's like bikinis on one side, and burgers on the other.
Again, some of those girls, man, who wear those bikinis, you probably shouldn't wear that either. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The burgers.
It's and the same. Some of those middle-aged dudes who wear the speedos, bro.
Oh man, come on! I saw so many of those in Miami, man. That's what they do down in Miami, man. They walk around the strip with just a speedo on.
Like, yeah, stop, man, stop.
You ain't got no shorts. You ain't got no basketball shorts. You can put on
some modesty, please. Yeah.
That's when you want those modesty values to kick in. You know, you gotta see a dude with a speedo.
Like, God don't like
Where's
that.
your modesty, man?
God don't like that.
Yeah. It's even worse when like they're wearing a speedo, but you don't know because their stomach hanging out so low. It's like you hoping. It's like, come on now, come on.
Well, I mean, she could be wearing a bikini with the same thing. You know, that little stomach overhang. You know, it's all good. Everybody's beautiful, man. You're beautiful in your own rights. You know, you don't have to fit in any certain type of mold. Me personally, man, I was telling somebody this at work. Like, people, I've been called asshole a lot. I've been called this and that. I've noticed if some people don't like me for whatever reason, I think I'm a pretty cordial guy. I treat everybody with respect, right? But like, I've never been good myself with fitting in. Like, I've never been good at fitting in. You know what I mean? Like, it's like if a lot of people want to go right, I want to go left. You know, like,
do you?
Yeah, it's just I'm always cool with doing me. Like, you know, I've never, even back in high school, I never was good at fitting into the in crowd. You know what I mean? Like, I've been always the type to just do me. You know, do what I think is cool. You know, I think to my detriment sometimes. I think if I was better at fitting in, maybe I would have cultured a lot more relationships sometimes.
Fitting in is a sham, dude. Nobody really fits in.
It's for show. It's for show.
Yeah, it's for show.
It's all
man.
for show.
Like, popularity is a hoax. It's not
Same
real.
thing with, like, you know,
popularity was real back in high school, though.
If you look
in that little nutshell
bubble, it's a bubble.
Yeah, that bubble environment. If you want
to look about fitting in, and stuff, right? Just look at rich fashion.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you know it's like a show. That's when you know it's a fucking show, right? When you look at rich people when they're dropping like hundreds of dollars on things that look like garbage.
If I spend $2,000 on a belt,
polka dot shoes, like,
right?
$500 for those.
Yeah, exactly. But you peasant, you wouldn't know about that, right? And then when you see people wearing that, you're like, I know you're doing this for show. Because there's no way you can find that's attractive. There's no way.
Dude, I can go buy a belt for $10 at Walmart, though. Like, I don't need...
It'd be fine. It'd be fine.
Yeah, it'd be good.
A diamond-studded belt and whatnot.
You know, that diamond... What was it?
That'd be
the
tight,
gold flake popcorn?
Oh, using that joint. Licking his fingers and whatnot.
$40 a kernel? What up?
Crunchy. Yeah, man.
That joint was too crunchy.
Tastes like richness.
Oh, snap.
Tastes like privilege, yo.
Tastes like wealth.
Well, yep. We have no answers here in the Intelligent Idea Talkers podcast. So that whole 45 minutes, 50 minutes, we have more questions at the end of that than we had.
Real talk though, if you were offered like gold flake popcorn, you eat it though.
I'll try it.
Course. Yeah, I crush that bag.
Is there any potential I could melt it down into a nugget?
Probably not. Actually, you know what? I remember reading.
I'd have to eat a kernel or two.
Did you ever watch I think it was like the
just to say
gold's probably not good for your
what
system.
What was that 2 Chainz show? It was like
that's where they had to go
shit,
right?
Yeah. I think it was like $5 for a kernel.
Yeah, that's where we watched that joint.
So I remember that. I was like, man,
because they sold an individual kernel. Yeah,
I think if we were given it, I would love to try it.
Oh, I'd try it.
But I don't know if I would buy it. $5 for a hell no. Man.
I might. If it's $5, I might buy it. I'd buy it just to try it.
I'll take a bowl and roll that joint between my hands so all the gold flakes off.
Look, I'd buy 2. All right, I'd eat one and I'd save the other one.
You can buy it online though, but the thing is like, I don't know, man.
You gotta pay for shipping for a kernel.
Yeah. It's like, if it was at like a kiosk or a booth, I might just buy, you know, maybe I gotta try.
Gold-plated popcorn.
Yeah,
is it
real
can't
gold? Taste good.
But then like it's kind of like, see, look, there's a couple of things that make things more expensive: gold, diamonds, and truffles, or caviar. Right, so if you go to like, you know, oh man,
truffles expensive.
Yeah, they're hard to find. They're rare.
The truffle is like a exquisite dish. Yeah, you always hear about it.
It's like rarity. Same thing with like caviar is rarity. But anyways, like no, so like if you see like
which does not look good to me. Why would?
If you see ice cream,
Not
right,
good.
then you put some gold shavings. Oh, you can jack it up another $40.
Caviar is not good.
Yeah, not good.
If I can spread it on
I've
bread,
had it before. It's alright. It's alright.
What's it taste like?
Salty.
Yeah, it's like salty. It's fish
Just
eggs.
salty.
Like fish goo?
Yeah,
It's fish eggs.
A little crunchy.
A little poppy.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hey, look, you was chewing that
feel
joint.
the
You heard
sting?
that joint in your mouth. That joint was like, this motherfucking fish is moving around. That joint.
I mean, it's
Screaming. Just like,
Sound of Richard. Sound of wealth. But I mean, like, no,
Fish
like
was
if
screaming
you
for
think about like shoes, suddenly it has diamond encrusted, like diamond crusted, whatever that's in there, right? Like it's like $1,000 now, right?
Oh.
They have like the richest martini, the most expensive martini, or the most expensive like water. Remember that shit?
Yeah.
Right? It's a
diamond
encrusted.
infused water.
Yeah.
That wasn't fair. That
It was
Rich's
$1,000.
martini. All he did was put diamond cubes in that joint, man. Diamonds at the bottom of the glass, man. That's not like a
Most
Right.
baller shit.
it's a
bro.
martini with diamonds. That's
I'm gonna go walk around.
how you stunt, though.
To
That's
me,
stunt.
to me, that's just cheap. I'm like, no. And also diamonds, real talk, man. It's not even that rare, man. It's the whole De
Yeah,
Beers
they hoard them
industry.
Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like whatever, yo.
Damn sure ain't rare. But yeah, I guess that's gonna take us out of men versus women, men and women, and
Versus-
sexual dichotomies, and
Yeah.
still weird. You know.
I hope we still
I
got
was
some
looking
female
for a
listeners
segue.
now afterwards.
I mean, we're on female side. I don't think we were chauvinists at all in that. We're speaking from a man perspective. All I can do is respond as a man would, right? Like a heterosexual man, right? Maybe like
You just assume.
a gay man or bisexual man would have different views on it.
Let us know some of your views.
Maybe a gay man would be like, "That's totally inappropriate. You should never do that."
Maybe.
Yeah. So, guys, what's up next?
I want to talk about this political poll that came out. I think it was a couple days ago. It was a poll, political poll. 46% think media make up stories about Trump. I know. I keep going back to Trump, but this is not about Trump as much as it is about the condition of American media right now.
The Trump Idea Talkers podcast.
Oh God. So this poll done by Politico/Morning Consult states that nearly half of voters, 46%, believe the news media fabricate news stories about President Donald Trump and his administration. Just 37% of voters think the media did not fabricate stories, and polls show the remaining 17% are undecided.
I thought, how many believe that they did fabricate?
46% think media.
That's a huge percent.
That's a huge percentage of voters.
There's 3 of us here.
Yeah.
So that means at least one of us.
Nah, I don't even like. That would mean like 1.5 of us. Like you have to split one of us in half because that's 4 off from 50%.
Right, at
man.
least one.
And that's a
lot.
The idea that 17% are undecided, and only
But
37.
you know what? I can almost see that because how reliable is the media and like how skewed is it?
Definitely not mainstream.
Because-
media. I
yeah.
don't trust mainstream.
Because like
media
if
at
you
all.
look at some of the stuff that like say CNN puts out, or even World Star or Live Leaks, or if you look at say Facebook, who is infamous in doing this, like what are the information are they showing you?
Well,
Like,
we have to throw in
truth?
Fox, like
Well,
so
even
everything
Fox,
is
exactly Fox.
everything has its own little media has a bias. All these organizations have their own bias.
There are that
It's
are more
understandable.
in the middle that are a little bit more reliable. They have their bias, like Al Jazeera is pretty good,
Yeah.
or the TYT is pretty good, but
Yeah.
like still like.
There are tiers to media, especially nowadays. I mean, I think you have your Foxes, your CNNs, where those are really like the mainstream guys. I wouldn't put World Star necessarily in that same.
What's
I think
kind of
any-
reports?
I think a lot of sites where you
They're
can,
like
where comments are such a big thing. I think the media is skewed by the comments, right? Like you can report on a website on CNN or whatever, like a site like World Star, even YouTube, and I would put YouTube underneath World Star, maybe like in the third tier. YouTube is What we do with our YouTube, man? I said that joke before, but I go on YouTube daily, though. Daily.
Me too. Every day.
Every day.
I would much rather watch something on TYT than watch anything on Fox as far as news reporting goes. My trust level for Fox is like, I don't even want to watch. I don't trust Fox. Like,
the thing is, Fox definitely is not. That's the thing. Like, so people, I feel like a lot of people are confused as to what is news. Like
these
a lot of these
are owned by
opinion
the
shows.
Yeah, but
are
the thing
opinion
is,
shows.
we're also younger though. We're younger because Fox appeals to older conservative generation. So like maybe I don't know, maybe our parents, I don't know, but like definitely our parents' generation, they're still on TV. They still get Fox News.
Ratings are definitely dropping for a lot of these news programs.
That's because they're dying out.
And if you look at
television is dying out. There's just so much. There's a huge other sources of. And then you look at like what people want from media. Like, what's the main thing people want from media? Like, when you watch the news, what are you looking for?
Honest reporting.
Honest reporting, right?
Absolutely.
So how many of these news organizations have these like in-depth journalists that go out and dig things up? I would say the newspapers, they have their investigative journalists, but at the same time, it's nothing going on with TV news media.
What they're reporting is actually pissing me off sometimes, because if you look at, say, for example, Donald Trump's like inauguration, where they had camera angles that were very specifically set up, so that it looks like it was really full, but if you scan out, it's kind of bare. Same thing with CNN, making like certain people's platform speeches and whatnot. It looked like it was crowded, but again, it's probably just like everyone squished into like one little frame.
The perception of it.
That's Hillary Clinton had that. What's going on with those?
I don't want to say that, but no, definitely.
Yeah, I'll say
but also, definitely.
But
also at the same time, though, like look at how people are wording things. Like if you look at, say, Hurricane Katrina, blacks are looting, right? If you look at Texas, people are breaking the stores, people are surviving. Like. Because of that, because of the wording, because of like the camera angles and all these things, like I can see why people don't trust like mass media or like the big media branches. Like, yo, come on, man! Like you guys are lying to us. Like
they've been untrustworthy in the past, so they don't always have a great track record. Yet at the same time, when you have this amount of people, and this is what worries me, because the freedom of speech and our media, our news, able to report things that the powers that be are not always going to be wanting us to know, right? The media's ability to do that is what makes this country one of the greatest countries in the world because of that.
But I would argue that mainstream media don't do that anymore, but they're owned by the same
They also skew. Like, for example, here's a great thing, right? Here's a great fact. So sharks are like heavily negatively portrayed in the media, right? There are more people who die from like getting killed by sheep and goats in a year than shark.
Get killed by sheep?
Like, no, seriously, like, it's true, though. It's true. And, like, if you
look
think about it, it's so ridiculous,
but
it's true, though. It's true, though, right? And it's one of the reason why is because if you look at all the reportings of shark attacks, if you look at all, like, the shark movies, right?
Deep Blue Sea.
Especially, or, like, Shark Week, right? But if you look at the numbers of fatal shark attacks a year, it's under 4.
Yeah.
But if you look at, say, people dying from, like, goats, or even horses.
But you think about,
like boars, right? It's dozens.
I could die from a sheep.
But you think about like a shark.
Like stampede, they just catch
a shark. You think about his teeth and shit, right? Like, the shark has 58,000 teeth in his mouth, so it's just gonna rip you to shreds.
Scared of humans,
but I bet you for damn sure, if you got bit by a goat, that shit will fucking hurt, dog. Shit will fucking, fucking powerful the jaws are.
Yo, rams are assholes, man. They'll be.
I'm definitely not trying to get rammed by a ram, dog.
I don't know.
I mean, anything in nature, like
people die from cows, man.
Exactly.
You get bit by a horse.
Deers are vicious.
I've heard about people feeding horses and getting bit and breaking their fingers. A horse will break your fingers. It bites down so hard.
I watched a compilation video the other day. I don't know why. Of people getting kicked by horses.
Yo, dude.
Oh my God.
That's nice.
This is going to be a whole different video. This is a whole different cast right here.
So again, it's skewed because sharks.
It's funny.
They are dangerous, obviously, but again, like if you look at from their perspective, the way that fish, the way that humans swim, looks like an injured seal.
Yeah.
Because we flail around and whatnot, right? So again, they're just curious.
It would all suck. Maybe get out in the ocean. But that's why I don't like swimming in the ocean, because you don't know what the hell is out there. I can't see.
Because you're small. You're small, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're so tiny.
And I'm over here next to the beach. Like, imagine being, like, out in the ocean. Right? There's no way I'm getting off the boat.
But anyways, no. So again, like, the whole way that sharks are being portrayed, like, they can skew anything.
You know, if you went on a cruise, right? Like a big cruise ship, Disney Cruise Lines, whatever, and they stopped in the ocean somewhere and say, hey, you know, we're allowing passengers to get off. You can go deep sea diving or, you know, swim out in the ocean if you want. Would you do it?
Probably not.
The hell no. I'm not getting off that boat.
I'm away from
I don't care if they drop the ladder and, you know, everybody, you know 50 people out there.
Real talk,
I don't care. I'm not getting off.
I went to Cancun, Mexico for like my belated honeymoon, and they were like, "Yo, we can go snorkeling," and I was like, "I don't know about that." I'm like, "All right, man, all right," because there's so many people. Like, I'm
felt pressured into it.
And I was like, but one of the first things I asked was like, "Yo, are there any sharks? Are there anything like? Are there any sea urchins? I need to know." Right, but the dude didn't speak English. He was like, "Yeah, just go out there, you'll be fine." Yeah. I was like, "Motherfucker, you just want to sell me your like." Coral. Whatever, man. Like,
on the way out there, they were blasting the shark, Jaws music.
That's not funny, man. That's not funny. So I'm swimming, I'm just chilling, right? And like my wife and I, we're kind of just swimming and we're just chilling, right? And out the corner of my eye, something passes me, so I look over, right? Motherfucking barracuda, right? Those things are big.
Holy shit.
A
barracuda?
Yo.
Holy shit.
Dog. Yo, that thing was probably like 4.5, 5 feet, dude.
Even like a tuna or something. Yeah.
It was within arm's reach. And tunas are big too.
Yeah.
So this thing swam by me and I was like,
he's screaming underwater.
I looked over and I was like, look. And I was like, no, we're done.
Yeah, I'm going back to the boat.
No, so I was like, I don't want to go near that. So we went back, and I was like, that's it. It's over. Let's stay on the beach.
Was the experience awesome though? It had to be cool, like being out there in the ocean, looking around, like, oh my god.
It was totally cool. It was totally awesome because we had goggles and everything.
Yeah.
We saw a sea turtle. It was dope. But like that barracuda, I was like, man, I'm vulnerable as fuck, man, because I'm not Michael.
Like they give you a spear or nothing, like
dude, we are. They got a harpoon.
Dude, you just like, all right, you like there's buoys that are like 50 yards down. You just swim out and you got a little thing and that's it. You just chilling. You can go underwater.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a whole different alien world. Right?
But I looked over and like this thing was this huge thing just swam past me, and I was like, nah, that fucked me up. Nah,
that sounds awesome, but I feel you. I'm going back to the boat.
That's it.
I'm out.
Yeah, that's that.
I wouldn't even got off.
Goddamn barracuda. Good lord.
Actually, you know what? I hate to skew this cast, but I went to the Philippines a couple years back in 2008. Shout out to the Philippines. And
bigger or smaller barracudas?
So no barracudas in this story, right? So people were
scuba. Sound like my son.
It'll get interesting. So we were scuba diving as well, but like, man, I was feeling cheap. I was like, nah, I'm just gonna free dive. Fuck that. I don't want to pay like $5 for that. I'd rather save my money, right? So I'm just free diving, going in and out, and I see sea turtles and stuff. And I was like, yo, this is dope, right? And they always tell you, don't step on the coral because you don't want to fuck up the the bio life and stuff. So I see this big giant like coral thing inside of this table, and I'm like, yo, man, it's kind of close. So I'm like, I'm just gonna float. So I float over it, and like I see my shadow. And for all those who don't know, the Philippines, we went to this place called Apo Island, and it's the top 5 dive resorts in the world. So it's like some like discovery shit, man. I could see like 50 yards down. It was just clear.
Damn, it's clear water.
Clear. No, it was crazy. It was clear.
It had to be beautiful.
It was beautiful. It was gorgeous, right? So I'm floating over this coral. I'm like, wow, this is awesome. And I see this little black thing come out of the coral, just doing this. And I'm like, yo, I don't know what that is. It just got bigger. It was long as fuck.
It was coming towards you?
Oh, no. It was just going forward. It's going forward, but I'm going in the same direction, right? And I'm like, so then like the sun kind of moves a little bit and like my shadow kind of veers. It's kind of like, it goes in its path. It turns around. And I was like, fuck the coral. Dude, was
it a sea snake?
Dude, so I ran out. I was like, yo, I saw something crazy, right? And I see it like kind of like get scared. So it kind of moved out. But then I see like all my friends, they just divide. There's like, yo, they just see it go right by all my friends, right? So I ran out. I was like, yo. I saw this thing. It was like black and white. It was striped. And they're like, oh, sea serpent. And I was like, the fuck is that?
I heard those things are fucking poisonous as hell.
Yeah. So I was like, I don't know what the fuck that is. He goes, King Cobra? I was like, yeah. He was like, 5 times more poisonous. I was like, fuck that, dude. That's it.
I heard sea snakes are like super poisonous.
Through my goggles, I was like, I said, I just chilled up on the beach and I just drank margaritas.
Dog, you don't know what's in that water, man. It's beautiful.
It took me like 10 years to get back to the water to scuba dive, but I saw the barracuda. I was like, you know what? That's it.
Yeah, you just have bad experiences in the ocean.
Maybe.
Jasper? Jay's back.
Hey, guys, Jay's over there.
Jay's back.
He swam into the coral. Hey, Jay's back.
So after that, I was like, you know what? That's good. I'm good.
Yo, yeah, man.
What are we even talking about? How do we get on this?
Fuck sea snakes.
No, it's the media. It's the media portraying the shark.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. All right, so here. So
I told y'all we never stay on top.
About so the poll. I know. Right?
That was an awesome story though. Man.
Yeah,
I want to go. I do want to go scuba diving, but I don't want to.
I'll chill with you guys at the beach, but I'm gonna be on.
Yeah, I don't want to run into a sea snake.
Sure, nah.
So the poll was actually about like 46% of media think the media, or 46% of voters think the media makes up stories about Trump. So like.
The media makes up stories about everybody.
But assuming what we have heard so far about Trump, would you guys say, do you think like the media makes up a good portion of those stories? Like most of those stories? Or do you think it's like, I think it might have some credence to it?
So for me, I think Trump is so eccentric, so out there. He's so like chauvinistic, right? Yeah. Like he's already tweeting at like 3 a.m. I heard that he doesn't drink. I heard that he's sober. Mm-hmm. Who the fuck tweets at 3 a.m.?
I heard never trust a sober man. I heard never trust a man who doesn't drink, especially socially. Like maybe not drink to get drunk, but like if you're having a toast and he's like, "Oh no, I don't drink."
I have grape juice.
Bruce Bolton didn't drink either, and he slaughtered the Starks at the Red Wedding. I'm sorry. It's a game
He's on to something.
Yeah,
but he's on to something.
I think because,
trust a man who don't drink.
Because Trump puts himself out there. Like, it has to be true, man. It has to be. And he has some wild shit, man. So I don't know, man.
Some of the stuff is like, so I think what people have an issue with is like all these leaks, right? So a lot of the stuff we get out of the White House is from people leaking. And part of it is like, they're not supposed to say who the leakers are. So sometimes it might kind of seem like the media is just like making up stories. But the fact that people don't know that, like when you have somebody who will leak information to you, you can't out that person, or else they can't give you any more information, right? It's an agreement.
It's also safety too.
It's safety, right? So I feel like, I don't know, that 46% of voters don't know that, and that I get that being a tricky thing, you know.
Where are these 46% people being polled from, man? Like the Midwest?
Good question.
Well, if you poll 2,000 total people, they'll say 46%
like
of
Americans.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Like they take samples.
That seems like a lot, man.
It does.
I think the media definitely embellishes stories and
because they want to sell. They want to sell.
Ratings is everything as far as media is concerned, you know, and especially independent media is just killing mainstream media now. I mean, I don't have to wait for 5 o'clock every day on Channel 5 to see the news. I can go on my phone and see breaking news, you know, by independent websites. But
even cell phone videos, man. Like you see that on YouTube,
cell
phone with the whole shooting in Las Vegas.
I mean, that's how I saw most of it. I don't think I watched one Facebook. Mainstream report.
You see it on Facebook first.
That Las Vegas shooting, though.
It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's crazy. And but I would say that they embellish a lot. But again, on the flip side, they probably have told true stories about Trump that people didn't even believe, you know?
I think everything I hear with a grain of salt, man.
Like TYT, like I said, they did 100 stories like leading up to the inauguration, right? And a lot of the stories, 100 stories about Trump leading up to the inauguration, most of them were about failed businesses, relationships, quotes, like just all these things he's done over time that just kind of give you this picture of like this guy's an incompetent.
Yeah, but at the same time though, like,
and people didn't want to hear that.
But
stuff,
they're pumping out a little bit of all these, you know, true stories or whatever you want to call them. But if Trump is dumping like millions into advertisement, you're gonna hear that much more. Like for example,
I don't think Trump got millions.
Like if you're putting out thousands of dollars to like say that this guy's a creep, this guy is a arrogant buffoon or whatever, right? But then I'm pumping in millions saying that I'm a great leader, that I'm a very studious person, blah blah blah, right? Like, they're gonna hear that much more, and then they're do something.
For most people, you're right. Like, but like people who are looking for alternative information, like it's out there. When you look at his situation,
a lot of people they don't do that though.
Yeah.
Especially our parents' generation.
If you watch news, you're not looking for more information. If you're watching TV,
they're still forwarding emails. If you don't do this, your mom's gonna die in 3 days. If you don't do this to 12 people,
I never do those things.
It's because you're young and you're the millennial generation. We've caught on. So it says the survey was conducted between October 12th and October 16th, and it surveyed 1,991 registered voters. And it said the margin of sampling error is plus
Where?
or minus 2%.
Where?
I think just it doesn't say where. It just
Because
says,
that to me that would be important. Because if it was like
I don't think it's just in one place though. Like
okay.
I don't think it was just one place, but they said it was like about 1,900 people. They sent.
I would venture to say that's,
number of
I would
questions.
say that's probably older generation because if you look at if you break down the demographics of voters, older people do vote much more than younger voters, and then white men vote more than like say minority men.
Yeah,
people of color and this and that. So that's probably where a lot of the numbers are being reflected upon.
That's just so crazy though, man.
All right, just as a little side note, Donald Trump, according to Google and Forbes, is worth $3.1 billion.
I heard that he's losing millions, though.
So if you cut that in half, right?
How did they know that?
Say that he's not worth 3.1. Because I heard that Forbes, sometimes their listings for net worth is kind of fraudulent. Like they take into account certain things that
assets,
don't really,
liquidations and stuff.
But said 3.1. So even if you cut that in half, he's still worth over $1 billion.
I'm not gonna believe anything until we get his tax returns. Like
you'll never see his tax returns.
Dude,
if you're not going to see Mark Zuckerberg's tax returns, you're not going to see Donald Trump's.
Why wouldn't you see Mark Zuckerberg's tax returns?
A rich man doesn't have to show you his tax returns. I don't think
the president.
I ain't got to show you mine. So.
You're not the president either.
Well, have we ever seen Barack Obama's?
Yeah,
Barack Obama's tax returns come in. I heard wasn't there a problem with Barack Obama's birth certificate or something in the beginning?
They tried to.
Whatever Trump said.
No, they said that they couldn't find his birth certificate. There were detractors.
I remember when Hillary and all of them were trying to call out Bernie Sanders with his tax return. He was like, "All right, here it is," he was only making like $300,000, where everyone else was making millions, and he was like. I make shit.
Here's the thing. The idea is that the dishonesty of it, right? The dishonesty, like he's hiding
Bernie Sanders
something.
a millionaire since then.
Probably.
So I heard probably from speaking publicly and stuff like that.
My issue with Trump is that he hides his tax returns. Like if he's a billionaire, like he says he is, what is he hiding?
But
that's it.
He was a businessman, and businessmen sometimes make fraudulent deals. That's the nature of the beast. But
so you're saying he's probably made some fraudulent stuff.
As his business background, probably he's in real estate,
and
he's defaulted.
I don't necessarily think it's
like
fraudulent. I believe that. I don't think he's that dumb. I actually give him a lot of credit though. I believe that instead of making fraudulent stuff, I believe he knows a lot of loopholes. But using these loopholes because they are legal has caused him to kind of like prosper at the hands of other people. So that's gonna come out. But he stated though, he goes, I know these loopholes, and I know how to exploit them. So really, like, you can't blame him. You should blame the system.
Most businessmen, I would say, do, right? Because when you hear about somebody from a bank and he's CEO of a bank opening up dummy accounts under people's names without their knowledge, you never hear about these guys
doing that shit, yo.
You never hear about these guys going to jail. They got money, they can get out of it.
I don't give Trump the benefit of the doubt because by saying that and then doing what he's doing right now, which is creating a tax system which the richest will get a bigger tax break. Again, it's another inconsistency. Like I don't give him the benefit of the doubt because he's a fraudulent con man.
But that's the system, it's just like. Blame the system. We gotta change the system. Man.
Okay, so somebody left like their phone here for you, and you like didn't. Are you gonna take it? They like, oh, they forgot the phone. You're like, oh shit, fuck this dude. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna take it, or you're gonna have a character to be like, oh, well, I should probably give it back to him, or maybe I shouldn't use it. Or maybe
I might leave a funny picture though.
I don't know. They definitely make up stories about Trump.
We talking about
tell true stories that no one believes.
He's able to exploit the system, and he knows loopholes because you can claim bankruptcy a couple of times and still be worth $3.1 billion.
You're not worth $3.1
billion.
Like you're doing something.
Even if he's worth half of that,
even if it's worth $1 billion, that's still $1 billion.
Even if he's worth $500 million, that's a lot of money. Be worth $500 million? Wikipedia says he's worth $3.1 billion. If he's worth $500 million, that's a lot of money, dog.
How much does he say
$500 million?
How much does he say he's worth? Like $6?
Who knows? So in this article, and I got to pull it up.
If you just think about just numbers really quick, right? $3.1 billion. If you spent $1 million a day, right? You'll probably still die before you can spend all that money. That's how big that number is.
We were talking about trying to quantify, in our last talk about how, we don't understand how women feel and stuff like that. I would say even more than that, we don't understand how billionaires feel, dude. Because I don't have any fucking clue how it is to have $1 billion. I don't have any clue how it is to have $1 million just at my disposal in my account. I could just go get what I want, like $1 million fucking dollars, dude. Like I can't even. I don't even.
They say that college graduates.
I feel like I would give half
throughout
to charity
their life,
or something.
They say college graduates throughout their lifetime make about 1.5 million from birth until their death.
You have one man that's worth over $1 billion,
that's
dude.
Several lifetimes.
$1 billion
since birth.
And how do you get tax breaks for these guys? It's totally the system. It's just the system that we live in. I mean, banking and industry and government are just all caballed into one thing. It's just a big cabal is all it is. Like in this article, do they specify which news agencies that people think make up stories about Trump, or are they saying media in general? Because I would argue that a lot of independent media, they don't make up stories about
what
Trump.
it does, this article points out as much about the multiple occasions in which Trump has tried to defame or tried to speak against the public media, right? Pretty much saying CNN is fake news. Mm-hmm. We should retract the credentials of this agency, NBC, right?
News, yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
And that's pretty much a lot of what the article speaks on. It doesn't really mention specific, like what people were at or saying wasn't fake. I think they were just talking in general. Like the questions seemed pretty general. Like voter. Anyway, I don't have any specific questions on top, but on hand. But there were really general questions about the reporting on Trump specifically.
Now this part in this article says Trump last week, and I'm not sure exactly the date of this thing. It says last week accused NBC News of concocting a report that Secretary of State Rex Tillerson had called Trump a quote moron and threatened to resign earlier this year. Tillerson denies he intended to quit, but has not personally disavowed the moron allegation. Like, these are just like common rhetorics between people in, at the head of state, right? Like, maybe Rex Tillerson did call him a moron because he was frustrated and mad at him at some certain point. And maybe it got leaked to the media. Hey, Rex Tillerson called him a moron in there. Now Rex Tillerson has to backtrack and say, you know what? Let me not blow this up out of proportion. I didn't call him a moron or whatever. A lot of it's backtracking and he said this. It's he said, she said.
Called
shit.
him a moron because Trump looked at how many nuclear missiles we have now versus how many we've had in the past, and looked at the highest point and said, "We need 10 times that." Like now, and then Rex Tillerson was like, "He's a fucking moron."
It's all he says, she said shit, and I think that's the reason why a lot of credibility is being lost from mainstream media, because they rather report on rumors and what someone could have said than actual factual facts. This is what's happened. This is what they're talking about.
But
I don't care if he called him a moron. What are they discussing in the meeting? You know what I mean? I don't care that he.
No, they reported that too, but that was that was the headline was like what they discussed in the meeting was what I just said. Like that's in there. Like that's part of the media. But what takes the headlines of what the CNN and TV shows run with is that Tillerson called him a moron. So there's definitely a difference between the newspaper media, like the media that's the information involved in the newspapers, and what CNN, Fox News, NBC, MSNBC, what they run with on their TV shows to get viewership. So as opposed to Trump being a moron because he said we need 10 times as many nuclear missiles as we've had in the past, the distant past, which we don't need those anymore.
Which I'm on Rex Tillerson's side for all this, by the way. You are a moron.
Like he's saying that the media report said, hey, he's a moron, Tillerson calls him a moron. So I get that. Like
we need more nuclear weapons, right? You know what I mean? Really? Okay. 'Cause I'm sure that's going to be safe for all of us. I'm sure that protecting American lives is increasing your nuclear payload, A
lot of it is because it's kind of impossible to do that. Because we have one facility that creates missiles, from what I've heard, and the cost would be like, it would be idiotic.
Astronomical.
Another part of the article says from Politico.com, says Trump said, actually, this is from Trump. He told a radio host, Chris Plante, guess that's how you say his name. Actually, dishonesty in the media is one of the things that surprised me the most, the president told Chris Plante. I thought that after I won, the media would become much more stable and much more honest. They've gone crazy. CNN is a joke. NBC is a total joke. You watch what they report, it bears no relationship to what I'm doing. But the media is absolutely dishonest. And frankly, I've never seen anything quite like it. Come on, Trump. You know the way this shit works. You've been in the media for the last 50 years. You know what I mean? You're a big-time real estate agent. Well,
he's
not
been
agent,
in the
but
news. He's been in, like, TV.
You know the way this shit works, man. Don't act like you're surprised now. CNN is a joke. NBC is a joke. You're just mad because of what they're saying in these articles now and the focus that's on you. You know, have you seen Trump, like, talk on TV, like an interview, or, like, especially recently? I mean, he looks like the wear and tear of being president is getting to him. You know what I mean? They had this part where...
if you look at past presidents before and after...
Oh, yeah. Even Barack,
they age bad.
I mean, dude, just think about the schedule. Think about your schedule as president. You ever feel busy in your life right now? Think about being president.
Think about what you learned. Think about what you learned, too.
God damn it. I got to get on the plane again? Yeah, I got to go again.
Where we going?
Yeah, I got to go to North Korea now. What the fuck, man? You know? But they had this part.
Maybe if he slept instead of tweeting at 4 a.m. every goddamn day, he might be all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, he looks like a maniac.
Look at this stuff. Well, it might be 4 a.m. here. Maybe it's
in D.C.
6 a.m. in Morocco or something.
No, he's in D.C. You know,
but look, so they had this after the Las Vegas shooting, and shouts out to those guys. Did we talk about that on the cast?
Yeah, man.
No, we haven't. Yeah, that was very sad.
That was crazy.
Which I still don't trust the media. I don't trust the government. Could have been something behind it. I mean, they have conflicting stories where you'll have somebody recording with a cell phone video where the shots will be fired closely to where they are, and then you'll hear more shots in the same video further away. But they're saying that it's one shooter, and you almost don't know what to believe anymore. You know what I mean? Because it's you've been lied to so many times, and they don't tell you
what the timeline is.
Yeah, it's like, what do I believe? What do I believe? It's just a nutty guy who
even
got a bunch of guns in a room and shot
it's an
somebody.
assault rifle. But if you listen to the sound, and I saw this video that was. It was a very conservative, like, right-wing video because the guy was defending gun rights, right to bear arms and all these things. And people were like, oh, see, this is exactly why we need to, like, buckle down on, gun safety and gun laws and stuff. And the guy was like, look, these were not assault rifles. These were machine guns, essentially. If you look at all the things that he had, this is what an assault rifle sounds like. And you hear the guy shooting off his gun. This is what a pistol sounds like. He shoots off his pistol. It's like, this is what a machine gun sounds like. Right? And then you play the video, you hear that exact same sound. He was like, you guys are banning assault rifles, but it wasn't an assault rifle. It was this and this and this and this. And so it was very interesting to hear that perspective. Pardon?
Because of the bump stock, right?
Yeah,
like
I
the
guess.
Converted the tool that converted an assault rifle to
essentially like
a machine gun
essentially.
Type gun.
But essentially like the same a
bump stock. I watched a video. You know, I watched a whole bunch of, especially after I bought my gun, man. Yeah, that bump stock, man. People, I listen to this guy on YouTube named The Real Merkaba, and he brought this point up, man. He was like, they already have gun control laws, right? Like they already.
Gun control law is really just banning good people from getting guns. Because, like, if criminals are going to get guns regardless.
Exactly. People are going to get guns regardless. They've always done it, you know? They've always gotten illegal firearms.
No. So I don't buy that argument.
People at my job build guns, man. This dude offered to build me a gun. He's like, I can build you one.
Out of what?
He told me the materials that I could go buy. He said you can go buy shit at Home Depot and he can build you a shotgun. You know what I mean?
That shit'll be illegal as fuck.
It would.
So if you get caught with
it's not going to stop anybody.
Right. So here's the thing. Like, of course, murder is illegal, right?
Well,
like murder, you can't murder nobody. You can't steal. Stealing is illegal. Hey. People steal. Right. So you say, oh, okay, well, fuck it. I mean, just steal away because not like we can stop you.
Hey, I can murder somebody with a teacup like Reddit. You know what I mean? Anything can be a murder weapon. That key can be a murder weapon.
No, but can you murder 50 people with a teacup? Are you that good? Do you know anybody that good? Can you imagine anybody
How big is a teacup?
You can build it.
You get one of those Disney World stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, those spinning teacups.
I can buy the shit to build a bomb at the grocery store. You know, if I wanted to kill 50 people, I can build a bomb and do it. I don't need to buy an assault rifle. So gun control laws
enough to make it like a
stupid.
Nuclear weapon, right? Like not enough to make a bomb that's gonna take down a whole building.
Of course not.
Like, here's the thing. Like, you have to have some regulations. Like, of course. I'm not saying ban guns.
Don't we already have regulations?
I'm not saying ban guns. Are they though? Because we have enough loopholes where people can still like get
the
weapons. Like the
checks,
whole
you have to get a background check.
Dylan Roof. The only
gun.
reason he had the gun he had was because that whole 3-day background check period.
Mm-hmm.
Like they didn't get it done in 3 days, so they were like, "Oh, I guess it's yours."
That's the
he wouldn't have had that gun.
I was gonna say that's the business. That's business
because the law says. I mean, when I got they did my background check. It was back in 10 minutes. It didn't take 3 days.
His took more than 3 days, and they were like, "Oh well, guess you win," and handed him the fucking gun.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so the difference is that maybe we should remove stuff like that. Like, I'm not saying ban guns. Of course not. That's in our Second Amendment. We have a right to bear arms. But when you have a regulation that says it's okay for people with mental deficiencies in the point where they have to have somebody else manage their finances, right? And I don't mean like hire an accountant to get your your best taxes. I mean somebody to manage your finances on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. If that's okay, and then it's okay for that person to have a gun, then you have and then the whole argument of mental health isn't a real argument, right? So let's be clear.
This is going to generate more questions, but I love this conversation.
I don't know how we got here. We're talking about something else.
But no, we might as well.
I brought it up because when Trump was asked, and this ties into you saying that the news media make up stories about Trump. The title of this video was Trump says that it's a blessing from God or something that people were shot in Vegas, some crazy thing they were saying, and all he did was misspeak. Like, in this interview, it's probably like a 5 minute, not even 5 minutes, maybe like a 2 minute interview. He was trying to get on his helicopter, and they were asking him questions, and the cameras are snapping, paparazzi, blah, blah, blah. And he just simply misspoke. I mean, the title of that article totally misled me to think one thing when he didn't actually say that in the video. He just he said he was talking about it was fortunate that the authorities could get there in time before the guy shot more people, But when he first initially said it, there's all this shit going on around him.
We have brain farts.
And he said that it was a blessing that they.
Was that?
Man, I'm not even sure. I gotta find.
I haven't heard that one. And I mean, I've been looking at it pretty close. I didn't see that one.
He definitely was not saying that it was a blessing that it was whatever the title of that article was trying to say. He did not say that. When I watched the video, I was like,
what was the article?
He didn't even say that.
So I'm curious.
I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna send it to you.
Since we're on the topic of just like guns and like the whole Las Vegas shooting thing, what are your thoughts on like banning assault rifles?
I don't like banning guns at all.
Here's my thing,
because there's certain guns out there that are just massive and like
egregious, man.
Like what do you need it for?
But my thing is, if you want to hunt, you should have a gun in which you can hunt with effectively, right?
If the police can come into your neighborhood with assault rifles, you should be able to bear assault rifles.
I don't think they should either. That's the thing.
But they can. And they do.
So let's make it so they
why
don't.
Can't citizenry have...
So here's the thing. It's like the solution to any problem was never being like, oh, well, everybody else can do it, so fuck it. Let's not make the argument.
If you have a crazy person who's going to run into somewhere and shoot somebody up with an assault rifle, that same crazy person is going to find a way to kill somebody, whether they have an assault rifle or not.
But it's about killing somebody or killing as many people as they can.
Regardless, whether you kill 1 or 100, it's still a heinous act. And
I would
he was going to do it regardless.
I would argue that I would rather save the other 99 people by restricting him from getting the gun to kill 100.
Of course, true. But just I'm talking about this is where you start encroaching on people's individual freedoms and rights to defend themselves. Right?
Dude, but here's the thing. The Second Amendment was written at a time when everybody had muskets, right? So, of course, that argument's been used 1,000 times. But I think it's it's a good argument. They didn't have guns when that was written with the capacity that we have now.
True, but
that's not what they meant. And I'm not saying ban guns.
I think it would make me nervous if the police authorities can roll into your neighborhood with weaponry that you cannot match. Period. Because then they do now, and we're totally at the mercy of these people. Like if you have 100 machine guns and we got 100 pistols, we're outgunned. And that is a very real threat, right? Like it's a threat. It's
true.
Like if you can't match firepower with you, we already can't. We already can't. And you want to lessen that? You want to decrease that? To me, I see what the people like in the NRA and shit like that and gun enthusiasts. I see
One
what they're
in
saying.
4 Americans are in the
But I also
NRA.
feel you though, because you don't want people just having these dangerous weapons. I would argue
Like
that
if the police
anybody,
roll through,
I would
if the
argue
SWAT
that
team
anybody
rolled
who's
through
crazy
and
enough
you
to
had-
kill somebody with a machine gun, they're going to kill somebody anyway.
Here's
they're
the
going to
thing.
do it anyway.
If the SWAT team came to your house and you had,
If they couldn't
you
get
had-
access
you
to a
had-
gun, they're
you
gonna
had
get access to something
You had
else.
4 machine guns, right? You have 4 machine guns. Your ass is still dead because it's the SWAT team.
See, it
And
goes
you have
deeper
2
than
arms.
that because we're talking about like we
only
already say
reason-
that society is so sensitive and it fractures very easily anyway. I mean, say we enter into like a police state or anarchic states, or we always talk about doomsday preppers. Say you're in that type of an environment and you don't have, you're outgunned.
Mm-hmm.
That's a real threat, Juice. That just is, man. It is.
Is there a limit to how many
Here's
guns
the
we
thing.
should have?
If it's in a doomsday situation, the government's gone anyway, right? So you prepping for a time when
definitely
the
need a
government
machine gun,
no longer
But you don't
exists.
know if they're gone, the government. It could be a militia at that point. It could be some other...
It could be a group of raiders that want to come in and take everything out of your fridge, or I mean, these are extreme cases.
But what about like? Is there?
So
what
they
about
wouldn't
having?
have
What about
the machine
limiting?
guns either.
But what about quantity then? Like the shooter had something like 34 guns.
Which is, how the hell did he get all those into the hotel room? Where's all these cameras that they're supposed to have? Like, I've been to Vegas. These fucking hotels are massive, you know.
I guess
There's
I got
no
the
way he
I know
snuck
exactly
these
how he
guns
did
in.
that jump, man.
How?
It's crazy, man. He's a rich white guy.
He brought them in one at a time.
It's
That
crazy,
explains
dude.
it.
He was like, I'm rich, bitch. And they were like, oh, okay, go ahead. What's in the bag, sir?
Right
You
there,
need help?
your hand. He was like, yeah, he tipped that. He tipped that.
Mhm.
A rich bitch.
Bellhop,
He was-
bellhop.
He was
Go
tossing hundreds to do. Yeah.
So what's in the bag,
That's
sir?
tips.
My machine guns. Oh, sir.
Oh, you joker.
He started laughing and stuff.
He tucked 100 in the guy's pocket.
You didn't see anything.
All right. Have a
Like,
good
yes,
night.
yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
I carry these for you.
Seriously, that is crazy, and we can't even really say that it's a racist kind of government conspiracy or anything, because this was a country music concert.
That's true. That's
That's not
true.
a lot of
Yes.
ethnic,
Which
you
is
know,
really
outside
the
of
weirdest
white people
thing.
who are going to a country music concert.
Because that's the thing. This guy went to events like this all the time. Like apparently this was them he did often.
And he was,
And for
he was
some
a
reason,
millionaire.
he was a millionaire
Mhm.
off real estate shit. And so this time though, he decided, you know what? Fuck it. And he just shot at the whole thing, and nobody knows why. There's no, like, if there was ever a case for a Manchurian candidate, like, this is it.
Which,
Like somebody hit the glass on him, and he was just like, oh shit. Okay.
I've heard, and David
Mission?
Icke was talking about this, that
Okay. Here we go.
humans work off vibrational frequencies, right? So they actually have, like we were talking about the heart program earlier,
Right.
where they have ways of mind controlling people through vibrations that they input into their body that is, you know, received through your cortex, with your third eye. What's the name of it? I'm looking for
Pineal gland?
your pineal gland, and they actually have ways to influence the thoughts in people's heads. Remember when they had that shooting at the Navy Yard in DC?
Yeah.
They said that guy said that he was made to think that this is what he should do. You know, like there have been other cases where, you know, this is David Icke saying this. I'm not an expert on this shit, but you know,
Is
and
he,
there's other people.
is he
that
like
listen to.
Al Jones and pulls up like sheets of paper with words really small and says, I have the proof right here? Did you do that?
But he has he'll do like a video cast, right? So he'll be talking to like a seminar. I mean, it's 100 people in this auditorium, and he'll just talk and reference his books and flip through pictures and, you know, reference people that he's talked to. You know, I'm not saying that everybody you see on the internet, YouTube, and everything is completely accurate, but it's enough to make you think that what we're being told is not always the truth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? Why do these people always die at the end? Why do they always get killed?
Yo,
right?
so apparently it was another
Like
thing.
Dylan
Like,
Roof
apparently
didn't
this
get
guy,
killed, but have we ever heard him speak publicly? Has he ever came onto a public stage and, you know,
whatever we have reported from the
confessed his
courtroom,
crimes?
in the courtroom
you know?
he did.
Like, yeah, I want to see him speak. If you do this heinous act and you go in here and shoot up a church full of people, put this dude on the news. You want mainstream media to have
but you don't want
relevancy?
him to. You don't want him to create the message, right? Like that's why media
There's
organizations don't like repeating the person's name because you create this person into a straw man which everybody
And what
can put
happens-
their
so
ideology.
I
upon.
believe
happens
in
is that they
answering
also
for
have-
your
Create an
crimes.
icon. You don't want to create an icon of these kind of people.
I would say that is true because at the same
Adolf
time
Hitler is an
you
icon.
also have
He
copycats.
Copycats.
You'll have copycat shooters throughout the nation. You know,
I don't believe that, man. Like,
But it's true.
people are gonna do it anyway. They don't need somebody to copy. Like, somebody gonna say, well, Dylan Root went and shot up a church. I'm gonna go shoot up a church too. You know, like, it's hard for me to fathom somebody thinking that way because, like,
it could just.
There's
It could just be.
copycats with Jeffrey Dahmer. He fucking eats people.
I was gonna say,
Like, you know what I'm saying? That's as
hey,
far as you
I would
go.
argue
There's
that people have been
copycats
eating
for
people
that.
for thousands of years before Jeffrey Dahmer. Okay?
I was gonna say, like, they probably were
I
thinking
can
about
see that
shooting
point.
up another church. They probably were thinking about shooting up another church, but like, you know what? Now I have another reason to do it because this guy did it. If he can do it, I can do it too. Kind of
Like
thing.
all those people at the that rally in Charlottesville. I mean, all it takes is another one of those guys to be like, oh well, I understand
now-
his message.
Yeah, so now
His message resonated with me.
and I'm not alone.
Yeah, I'm not
I'm
alone.
not alone. So now I can, be part of a
I don't
movement.
buy it. Me personally, I would like to see this guy sit there, be told, "Hey, this is what you did. What do you have to say for yourself?" Like, I
He
want to
admitted
hear
it.
his side of the story. I want to hear what this man. You're still going to suffer the punishment for your actions. I want to hear what you have to say about that shit.
I'll pull you up, Dylan.
What do you
Root's
have to
quotes.
say for yourself?
I'm not saying it on the air. That we're on the air, but you know, like you can pull up his quotes. If you looked it up, dude, you'll see exactly what he said.
We
and
should
it's
have one
not
of those little
cool.
on-air signs up here. You know what I mean? I think like if we ever do the video cast, we're gonna like we do our background setup.
Yeah.
You got to get a big X-Men poster or something in the background, but we need to have one of those on-air things in the back. That should be tight.
Yo, speaking of X-Men, should we segue now?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
All right.
How long is this going for, man?
We're at an hour and 41 now. So you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Damn, okay.
All right.
So, Black Panther.
Black Panther. I don't know if y'all saw.
Freaking awesome.
But I think it was October 16th. On my birthday. Assuming that was the correct date, they did it. They released another Black Panther trailer.
They did it for you.
They did it for me.
They did it for you.
Say
My-
happy birthday
me-
to Juice.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And yo, it was phenomenal. So
That joint looks awesome.
it looks amazing. Like Michael, look, I'm psyched about Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman. You know, it's T'Challa. But at the same time, I'm equally psyched about Michael B. Jordan playing Killmonger.
I say he looks kind of cheesy.
What?
Not cheesy when he put on the armor and the gold, but like with the hair hanging down and like the way he was speaking. I didn't buy his accent. I thought his accent was like, I bought Chadwick Boseman's accent more than I bought Michael B. Jordan. It sounded kind of heavy and fake to me. Yeah.
Really? I thought his accent was kind of.
I thought it sounded kind of fake. I have a couple
He
questions.
sounds like an immigrant to America.
What?
Which he is.
I didn't. I saw this video and I saved it to my watch later video list. What the hell is Black Panther suit made of? Because I heard that he uses a totally different technology than Tony Stark. I heard Tony Stark. It's not even on the you saw that part in the preview where he put his suit on, but it like formed around him. Yeah, so
Power Ranger shit.
it's not like an Iron Man suit, right? Because nothing flew in and attached to him. It was just there. So what does he have, like in a wrist or?
I don't know what that's about. Honestly,
I gotta watch
but I
that
know
video.
it's made of vibranium.
Right,
That's
yeah.
why it could block, like, it absorbs the impact from bullets.
It looks freaking tight.
And it can, it could do other things. But I
That
don't know.
one
I
part
don't
where
know
he,
what that's
stuck his
about.
hand in the wheel and ripped the wheel off the truck. Yeah, that joke looks. It's gonna be an awesome movie, man. Like,
gonna
I
be
do
a good
not
movie.
sleep on Marvel. Do not sleep on Marvel at all.
Always having good stuff, man.
I like how they brought back the guy who was in Age of Ultron, who was smuggling the vibranium out of Wakanda.
Claw.
Yeah, I thought he died.
Dude, that's one.
He just got his
What
arm
happened to
cut
him
off.
at the edge of?
He got.
what
I know.
happened at the end of
Ultron like blew his arm off, but I thought he. I swear
Yeah,
he
because
got
that's his
killed.
thing. His powers, he has a sound generating pulse arm. So he's
Okay,
one of.
okay.
He's a historical character.
He's like
for,
the Shocker.
Yeah, He's like a historical character for Black Panther, a villain. You know, like his whole thing. He's a poacher, and
I like the way they brought him back. Marvel does continuity so well in there. They are actually like movie comic books, man, because they just do continuity like
they bring it together.
years
It fits so
of
perfectly.
and it just fits, man.
Oh man, I'm so
Years
psyched.
of these characters playing the same characters, and it just adds to the mythos of the movies. But man, I'm totally psyched about this movie, man. Like, you know, when you see Wakanda and like, so they're shielded by. This is part of the preview where he flew through this like illusion thing. It looked like, and then Wakanda opened up. So it's the main. I guess we're going to see it when we see the movie. So are they shielded by like an illusion or something, like an optical illusion, so nobody can really find the country of Wakanda, or is that just Black Panther's main?
It's like
base?
the main city, right?
Yeah.
So like the main, like the city, you know, they call it the Golden City. You know what I'm saying?
So they're very
that is
technologically
kind of
advanced.
they're incredibly technologically advanced based on the meteor just there with the vibranium. So they were able to, push their...
Can you imagine shit like an African Iron Man? That shit's gonna be tight, dog. Like, you go up in this little lab and shit. Fucking, yeah. I mean, honestly, man, it really... Even though I know it's gonna have the Hollywood spin on it and all that stuff, it made me excited to see so many people of color inside a major motion picture action film.
I'm being that joint with
I gotta go get
and cheese.
I gotta go get
some ribs and the dashiki, son. You know what I'm saying? And the Black Panther.
All speaking with the accent. And honestly, man, to me, call me crazy because I'm a black guy, but I don't think this is going to affect Marvel at all. Like, as far as the bottom line and the money that this movie is going to make.
No,
this is part of the cinematic universe. Exactly.
Nobody's going to be like, too many black people on the watch.
There's too many black people.
Hell no, this is Black Panther.
I don't want to see that superhero movie. Yeah, I don't think it's going to matter at all, man. I think people, they're like, he made such an impression from Civil War, and we all know, Juice got on me before, said not every movie can be Civil War, D. You know what I mean? I was like, all right, fine, fuck it. All right, but Civil War was one of my favorite movies of last year. And
this all came together so perfect.
The Black Panther just was on it, man. He was on it. Awesome character in that movie. How do you come in first movie and be one of the best characters in the universe already?
He only had a few lines. Real talk. I do not care.
I'll take care of the problem. I'll take care of the problem myself. He was somebody else said, like, could you imagine, he was like, man, what a leader of a country. Could you imagine Barack Obama saying, don't worry, I'll kill him myself. You know what I mean? That should be fucking cool, though. Like, if Barack Obama said that shit, don't worry about it. I'll kill him myself. I was like, oh shit, Barack.
Osama bin Laden. I will kill him myself.
Like, damn, Barack, let's go.
You are from Kenya.
Yeah, that joint look cool, man. I can't wait to see it. Like, it was weird when I saw his suit form around him. I was like, what the fuck is this suit made of? Because I always thought, like, they had another part of the people where he put on the helmet. He put it on. So it's like, does he put on the suit or does he become the suit? Like,
I just do. Mark it like Power Rangers, man.
Yeah.
Let it be.
Something like Power Rangers.
Suspend your disbelief at this point.
I could buy Power Rangers. I could buy it, though.
I'm curious about Michael B. Jordan as, like, the golden version of the
He looked
Black
awesome
Panther,
when
right?
that joint went down there. That shit looked tight.
What's up with that?
When I first saw the picture, because I saw a still shot of Michael B. Jordan, I thought that was Black Panther. I was like, what, did he get a suit upgrade or something? But come to find out, he's a totally different guy.
So I'm so curious about the story, son. Like, how much magic and mysticism versus how much technology, right? Because Wakanda is like a super mystical, magical
I didn't even think about
place,
that.
right? So it's like, I want to see how I want them to bridge that, especially now with Doctor Strange. Like, I want them to bring all that together and make it so, like, they got to make it seamless.
We should do a video cast or a movie cast where we actually watch a movie.
We all dress up like that? Yeah.
I definitely got to get a Black Panther shirt before I go out here and see this movie. When does it come out again?
I don't know the release date. It's in February.
Awesome. I know I'm going to see it. The next Marvel movie coming up is Thor, beginning of next month. I'm definitely going to see it.
I'm going to go see it.
It's coming out.
I don't even care, man. I'm just waiting for Black Panther. Like, they should.
Man, Black Panther, though.
I'm going to watch it, though. It's got to tie in.
I wonder how it's going to tie into the larger story, because when the fuck are we going to see Thanos? Like, when is this guy coming? Like, it just, okay, we got him in Guardians of the Galaxy, right? He was referenced. He was on the projection thing, and the dude was talking to him, bring me the stone and shit, Then we saw him at the end of Age of Ultron. He put on a gauntlet. I'll do it myself. That was 3 movies ago, man.
We have Proxima Midnight in the Thor movie. We have Proxima Midnight, which is one of his Black Order minion. Yeah. So she's in that jump. So we have, who else is his minion do we have?
I don't know. I know that thing was his daughter in the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, Gamora. Yeah. So she's in Guardians of the Galaxy. I guess she'll pop up in Infinity.
When the hell is this thing happening? Like, when I heard about this years ago, and remember how they said, like, Marvel has this 10-year movie plan where they're going to come out with these movies in order. They fucking stuck to that fucking plan. Like, I remember I saw that joint years ago, and they were like, we're going to come out with Iron Man, then we're going to come out with Spider-Man, and Iron Man 2, then fucking Captain America. They done that shit over the last 10 years. It's like, can we see Thanos? Like, can we see him, like, punch somebody or something like that? Like,
yeah, like a feature. Like, have him kick somebody in the nuts and then bounce out.
Exactly, like, show his power. Like, I'm tired of just hearing about these Infinity Stones. Like, show the threat. Show Thanos. Like, we saw his army. I imagine that was his army at the end of Avengers. Remember when Tony Stark flew through the hole in the that was his army, right? Like, because Tony Stark saw it, so he's like, yo, we can't match that. We got to create Ultron. Which led to Ultron and, blah, blah, blah.
Oh man, I love it.
That shit is tight, and I wonder how Black Panther's going to tie into that. Like, maybe Thanos is going to need vibranium for something or something like that, or I don't know, right?
You know what I'm interested about in Black Panther is all the female characters like Shuri and the Dora Milaje, like the girl who played Michonne in Walking Dead, man. Like I want to see everybody's. Like, I just want to see how they're gonna handle these roles, man. And then if they pull it off, like, what's the girl from 12 Years a Slave? Like,
yeah, that one. That's an awesome movie. Did you ever watch it?
I still never watched it.
Dude, you gotta watch that.
I know.
That was fucking sad.
I haven't seen it. I know.
God damn it.
Slavery movies, man. Like, it's hard for me to get into them.
Michael Fassbender. You know, we know him from Alien Covenant and Prometheus and all that.
And now the Snowman
Magneto.
coming up.
Yeah, Snowman. Yeah, my boy showed me a preview of that the other day.
That's true.
It does. But that dude's an awesome actor in that movie, man. 12 Years a Slave. I was really pissed at him in that movie. I was mad as shit. I was like, yo, fuck Massa, man. Like, for real, man. Like, I'm telling you, he's gonna piss you off, dog. Dog, he gonna piss you off. I gotta go
to work the next day.
Did you see that movie, Jay?
I did.
The way he beat that girl at the end, man. It's just like, oh my god.
Did you guys ever see that TV show American
People
Gods?
actually went through that shit. Yeah, American Gods. I watched the whole season. I watched the first season.
I never.
That was a cool ass.
In 12 Years a Slave,
it was hard to follow, but it was a cool ass.
So in 12 Years a Slave, when they had that boat scene, I was like, "Yo, motherfucker, burn that down!" I thought that was gonna happen.
Yeah, that shit was.
But then they were like, "Oh, this is."
It was hard for me to follow American Gods. Like the first 2 or 3 episodes, I'm like, "What the hell is going on?" But
what's it on?
I watched the whole thing. Stars. It's cool. It's like very visually, like
cool. I want to see that.
It's a visual show. Like some of the scenes they have in there, you're like, "What the fuck?" But they got like. It's the American Gods. They got like the Easter Bunny and how she wasn't really the Easter Bunny, but she derived from some goddess.
Wednesday in that jump? Who's Wednesday?
Wednesday is
God of Thor.
Yeah, I know, but who's the actor?
He's from John Wick.
Is it good though? Oh, the old dude.
Yeah, he's Odin.
Yeah,
he's actually Odin in that joint. I don't want to spoil it, but
I read the book.
Cool.
It's cool. I want to see that jump.
Yo, have you ever seen John Wick 2? You see John Wick 2? Oh, with Common?
Yeah.
He did awesome in that movie.
He did.
Like, he was dope in that joint, man. Like, he was so intense. That was intense as hell, man. He killed his ward.
Common always got these side roles. I want to see him as like a main guy, right?
Like he could be a main spy or something. He could have his own spy movie.
He could, dude.
That joint was tight.
Like he took a long progression acting, right? Like he went the long way. He got his chops, but I think he could pull it off, man. Like I think he could give him a role.
He was intense as hell in that movie, man. Him and Keanu with them action scenes, that was awesome, man. It's one of the best parts about John Wick. You know, everybody goes on the guns and the shooting, but the choreography for the action is just so good because it's realistic, you know. But yeah, going back to Black Panther, man, awesome. Can't wait to see it. God damn it. And then we got Thor.
Gushing, son.
Before we get to Black Panther,
we're going to have a full 2-hour Black Panther cast after the movie.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, we definitely do that. And then we've got The Last Jedi coming out at the end of December. Can't wait for that.
Yep.
I'm on board.
Yeah.
Yep. Star Wars. I'm with it. You know?
Yeah, man.
But, yeah. They're going to take us out, fellas?
Yeah, we might as well wrap this joint up, man. We hitting 2 hours by now. So,
probably longer than that with all the precast recording, right? That'd be longer than that.
We've been talking a lot. We've been talking a lot.
We only had like 3 topics. I guess minus the
tangents.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Tangents.
I mean, we definitely talked about sea snakes and
intelligent idea talkers.
We talked about sharks and we were talking about Trump. And somehow we got on to like sea snakes and sharks and whatnot. And, yeah, it was. That's how the conversation is supposed to go.
Yeah, man.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. Definitely comments help. You know, anybody's listening to this. Shout out to my sister. She's definitely been listening to a couple casts.
Hey,
thank you very much, Bridget. Spread the word. Tell your co-workers.
What up, hey,
Intelligent Idea Talkers podcast. Shout us out.
Yeah, man. Hey, and we're working on the logo, so that'll be out soon. So, and y'all can get a t-shirt. Straight up.
Yes, sir. Episode 27. See you guys next time. Once again, I'm your host D.
This is Juice.
Your boy Jay.
Peace.